nerdrotic.com.
Welcome, travelers, to the fringes of reality, where the strange and mysterious meet, and the thin veil between fact and fiction is torn. Welcome to the Forbidden Frontier.
Oh, you're beautiful. Oh, you're beautiful. Thank you so much for ending your applause so succinctly. I appreciate that. Welcome to a very special episode of the Forbidden Frontier. If you're looking for a little more Snow White talk or talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of pop culture, that will resume tomorrow. But we decided to put this episode, which is normally on Nerdrotic Live, which will eventually change to the Forbidden Frontier channel, over on the main channel, because we have a couple of big-time guests and a subject that I think is pretty exciting right now, and some crazy shit is going on. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Michael Collins, the Wandering Wolf, and Jimmy Corsetti from Bright Insight. Welcome, gentlemen. Listen to him. What's up, fellers?
How's it going? It's good to see you,
up,
everybody. How's everyone doing? It's been a while.
Great.
I'm glad we're all doing this together. Guys, there's a lot to talk about.
Oh yeah, so much. Yeah, we don't even have time for the Kennedy stuff. For the Kennedy assassination stuff.
We have yet to do.
And the Ark of the Cup. We ain't
Well,
talked
we'll
about that
mention
yet.
that a little bit.
We can squeeze it all in, I'm sure.
I'm sure we can.
That's what she said.
Yeah, the cover up at Gobekli Tepe is a big subject, and also the structures under the pyramids is definitely hot on everyone's mind. Jimmy was just on Piers Morgan. How was that, man? How'd you like it?
It was awesome. By the way, so you're a regular guest on there. And so, I've always wanted to go on Piers Morgan. I really like the guy. I don't agree with him on like a number of things, but there's something so lovable about him, the way he could be so insufferable in the way he argues sometimes, but I love it. Even if I don't agree with him, I'm like, the way he does it is fantastic. So it was a great pleasure to be on there. And it was, of course, this topic involving this alleged discovery under the Giza plateau. And, there's a lot of different thoughts on it. And, people are kind of looking at me to validate that this is true. But I got to be honest, I have some doubts about, I think that it may be wildly exaggerated, but I just want to be clear. Like, I do think that there are structures underneath the Giza plateau. When I was in Egypt and got a tour from Yusuf Awiyan, there's legends that his father, who's Akim Abdel Awiyan, the late Akim Abdel Awiyan, I should say, where back in like the 1930s, he was said to have went into an underground tunnel that connected from Giza to Saqqara completely underground, which is 8 miles away. We also know that there's a labyrinth of Harara, which is mostly just not even excavated. So like, if there's anything underneath the Giza plateau, that in itself is a huge discovery. But I do have concerns about the scans that we've seen. It might be, so I'm trying to be a devil's advocate on it.
Yeah, you don't want it to muddy the waters, because I've heard forever, as long as I've been into this stuff, that there's something under there. Hugh Newman and Mike. Oh God, why am I blanking on his name now? Megalithomania. They went down and they did a full video on it. Andrew Collins. Sorry, Andrew. God
Collins.
dang it. I'm old.
Great author.
Great author. They did a great video on it. There's been past video, like before my time on YouTube and your time on YouTube, there have been videos on it. So there's something down there.
Yeah.
But I think they muddy the waters by throwing up a 3D image and saying it's a power plant. It's like, whoa, pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
This is one of my concerns, is that like, because there's so many mysteries in Giza, whether it's the unexplored chamber within the Great Pyramid, that I'm like, I'm not a hater against ancient aliens, although I don't like watch the show or really agree that it was built by aliens. But like, the thing is that that's like the number one pushback I get when I try to tell people about a lost technology, which I do believe existed. Half the people will roll their eyes like, oh, so it's aliens, right? And I'm like, no. So if the discovery turns out to be complete bunk, it's almost like a setback where people will just roll their eyes for the next 5 years and be like, oh, there's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, like, listen, we all love sensationalism, but like on this one, I think it does matter to kind of just take it easy on this. And Graham wisely when he was retweeting you, I think, Jimmy, or he said, like, listen, I am going to stay out of this until I have more information, but watch this, and that's
right.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's a really interesting thought experiment, right? It's like maybe this technology is real. Maybe they did find some voids under the pyramids. That's super interesting, and we should definitely look. I love what your point was. Let's just drill down there, and then we'll get definitive evidence. Like, you don't have to do a lot of damage. It's just a small drill hole and put a little spider. Yeah, that's it. That's all you need.
So when I was on Piers, he had asked me how large the Giza plateau was, and none of us knew the answer, so I Googled it afterwards. And the Giza plateau is approximately 1.25 mile from north to south and 0.6 of a mile, a little over half a mile from east to west. And my point is that, like, the pyramids make up less than 1% of that. So I'm arguing, like, yeah, go drill a hole. Whereas, like, someone like Flint Dibble is saying, no, don't do it. You're going to destroy it. And I'm like, there's plenty of room out there. And it's the fastest, easiest, most definitive way to find out if there's truth to it. It could be done by the end of the week. Within a few days, they could dig down with the drill.
And by the way, Flint Dibble's happy to argue about destroying sites being a common thing in archaeology when you're working on a site when it fits his narrative. For example, with Göbekli Tepe. So, he's perfectly happy adjusting his stance depending on whatever he's talking about or who he's arguing with.
So Mike, Mike and I, to anyone that's not aware, we just got back from a full week in Turkey together, and we saw definitive evidence that ruins had been destructed through the archaeological development of tourism at a certain site, which we're going to expose. And so, like, when he said that at Piers Morgan, I wanted to interject, but the way Piers had everything set up, I couldn't just jump in. But it's like, oh no, Flint, actually, archaeologists do break things more often than you might be willing to admit or acknowledge. I saw it with my own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. Your trip over there exposed a lot, and we will see more in the future, right? But we'll hear a little bit about it now. But yeah, he's becoming like the clown you can roll up, the contrarian. He'd be great for Piers. It's the way Piers is struck. I've left so many jokes on the floor, dude. Like, it's like next time.
As a viewer, I want to see you guys go into it more in depth and have like more of a discussion. It's so quick. There should be like a 4-hour long version of that debate. It would be fascinating.
They need to bring us on to talk about Gobekli Tepe, because Flint is a staunch advocate for every type of archaeological practice that's happened there. He literally defended the trees that were planted on top of the ruins. He adamantly stated that it's going to preserve the ruins, and it turned out that he was egregiously incorrect. That when I had simply suggested that, hey, are any of these trees planted on ruins? And once I confirmed that that was true, the question becomes, well, aren't tree roots notorious for damaging things below? This wasn't rocket science. And he turned out to be completely incorrect. So I'd love to go back on Piers and have that conversation.
Well, you might, especially since the trees have been removed, so, we'll talk, like, as far as the Giza pyramid goes, like, we obviously, those scans, I don't know how they came up with them. I don't know how they've been manipulated. I have no fucking idea. I do know that the report that came out was wrong on some stuff, and it was supposed to be a scientific report, and said it was the pyramid was made out of granite. When it's not. There's granite in it, but
Metatron, who's I guess he's Italian, he did a video, and I haven't watched it yet, but from the people talking about it, he's basically saying, like, there's been so much stuff that has been taken out of context from the actual reports from these Italian scientists. And I think that there are too many people that took that and were like, we can run with this. And they did. Dude. I mean, look how far it is. Everyone's talking about this new 2-kilometer deep. And it's I can't wait to watch that video. I kind of saw it right before we were getting ready to go live.
It's a must-see. It's a must-see.
Yeah.
It breaks down 4 hours into 35 minutes. And the amount of things that were there's some stuff in there, guys, I'll be honest. Based on the press conference, a 4-hour press conference, based on his translation of it and sharing, like, the bullet points on it, it really doesn't serve those scientists and researchers very well to prove their point. It actually diminishes it greatly because guys, I'm woo-woo. But, like, this was a little bit These it really diminished their credibility. I don't want to be a hater, but like Metatron's video is a must see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we should probably, before we get started, do our ad read. Sorry, guys. I was ready to freaking go.
Like jumping in.
I wanted to just slow you down.
Breaks.
Let's have a coffee break.
Let's have a coffee break. Wait, I will. Hang on.
I'm feeling quite old. I need to.
Oh yeah, you feeling a little old? Just shut up. Applies to me. All the old out there. What if your morning coffee didn't just wake you up? What if it actually made you younger? Sounds like bullshit, right? Well,
It's perfect
not.
for me.
It's perfect for me too. I do other things to wake me up, but I mean legal. Okay.
Calm down.
1775 went ahead and made Rejuvenate. And no, it's not some scam cooked up by corporate hacks trying to sell you snake oil. It's got CAAKG, whatever that is. Clinically proven to fight aging at the cellular level. And yeah, it works. Why do we have music in the background? Does this make it better?
You said you did other things to wake up.
Oh God, I really didn't want to think about
Yeah,
that.
when my wife's home. So, you're still getting the same freedom-fueled 1775 coffee you love, single grain, small batch, and ethically sourced. I did it again.
Oh no. It's not ethnically, it's ethically sourced.
Quick, drink a cup of it. Prove that you're not racist. Drink it right now. Drink it right now.
Ethically sourced from the kinds of farms that probably hate big government as much as you do, but now it boosts energy, fires up metabolism, and cranks back your biological clock by up to 8 years and in just 7 months. I thought it was saying it at 8 years and 7 months. That's oddly specific. It's 8 years in just 7 months. This is backed by studies. I'm not pulling this out of nowhere. 1775 Rejuvenate officially launches April 15th, tax day. You're going to need it, but you can lock in your pre-order now, and every dollar you spend enters you to win a Cybertruck at $30,000 cash. Head over to 1775coffee.com. Use promo code Nerdrotic for 15% off and drink your age away with coffee instead of booze that delivers real results. No corporate coffee here. Oh, my God, did it.
You did it.
Hey,
we did it.
I'm not getting paid anything to say this. I've had 1775 coffee, and it's delicious. It's some of the best smelling and tasting coffee out there. So, like, honestly, just on the real, I haven't tried that new one that's coming out, but, like, their coffee's great.
Do you feel younger?
Don't I look at it? Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
There you go.
Jimmy's 75. Look, he looks great.
He looks great for 75.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Careful, people are going to start bringing in the adrenochrome accusations.
Oh boy. No.
I support babies. Leave me alone.
Yeah,
You're the one who said
I would
it.
never.
You brought it up. I'm just.
Edit this out immediately. Shut it down.
No.
It's too late. It's too late.
I could probably get away with saying that now. Couldn't a couple years ago. Just saying the word. All right, so back to Giza. So that, like, dude, it blew up. Alex Jones did a report. Everybody
Outside
was doing a report
of the
on it.
Yeah.
Way outside of the sphere.
Way out.
Yeah.
And
if it was true, it would make sense that everyone's excited about it because it is amazing to think about, to imagine that being true. I mean, everyone wanted it to be true. I want it to be true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's something that is there that Jimmy mentioned earlier is the labyrinth. I mean, it's not right there on Giza, but the labyrinth is there. They can't excavate it. Ben from Uncharted X has done an entire video on why they can't do it because it would disrupt farms and everything. But that thing, look it up. It's more of a marvel than the pyramids.
Is it because of the dam and then all the water level?
The water level backed up.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, it's flooded. It's flooded. Like they couldn't, because there's the Harara pyramid that's right next to it, and we couldn't go down into it because it was completely flooded with water. Mike, what are your thoughts on that discovery?
I think you brought up a really excellent point. That one of the main things that's been going around and circulating is that image that from the side showing the columns and stuff, but like that's not real, right? So that's extrapolated from their data. So it's a complete assumption of the scans. So everything that we're getting from a sideways angle, nothing's been scanned like that to show these types of columns and structures. This was all done from a top-down perspective, which, you know, I think for a lot of us, speak for myself, caused me to kind of reserve judgment on all of this until more stuff came out. Seemed like the right way to go on this.
You know, even the 3D images were a stretch, and they were based on that sideways scan already. Right. So you got to think, like, they made a leap to the sideways scan. So I was already talking about it was a leap from the 3D images or to the 3D images. So now it's just like they're in freaking La La Land now,
right?
Because these images here. So yeah, I didn't even think about it. Like, this isn't what they got.
Well, Ben from X, he had a great point where he's like, just test it on something that we know. That we know.
That was the one thing that Dibble was saying. I'm like, all right, I'll agree with that.
Yeah, that's easy. Like,
it's true.
Just
prove that it works.
Baseline.
Right. Exactly.
And that's what we're always saying with this stuff. That's what Jimmy is constantly saying in these videos, and Michael says it too. It's like, just go and look at this shit. Go get out of your fucking classroom and go look at it. Dibble's got time. I mean, he's on every fucking show now. So
shit.
Go look at it, bro.
We're trying to give archaeologists jobs here. It's like, hey, like, please go explore it. And he's, no, 100% we should not drill a hole to the Giza plateau. And I'm like, guys, there's a lot of space out there. Like, it's very open. You could drill down and it would be no problem. And even, you know, he'd say it would damage the structure itself if you did. I'm like, well, how else are we going to get down in there anyways? Like, you're going to have to drill down at some point if it is there. So
and they've already drilled through parts of the pyramid in different areas, you know? I mean, the stuff is like done. So we're not talking about doing something new or uncontrolled.
It's almost as if it's the amount that they're trying to defend against doing any of that makes me think that there is something that they know about. Right? Like, otherwise, why are you fighting it so hard? You are an archaeologist. This is what your whole position exists for, to discover this stuff.
I think
right?
that's
and
one
dig
of the
into
biggest things that at least for me, and especially over a lot of the butting heads and controversy that's been going on the last couple of years, is just this unwillingness to explore things that are being found outside of the realm of archaeology, you know, like, quote unquote professionals. So like, if somebody like Graham suggests something and everybody's like, yeah, they're just automatically going to stand against it. And it's a bit baffling, especially when your profession is about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Specifically that.
Go disprove it. Yeah. Go disprove it. Disprove it and be done with it. Like, go do the research, go to the site, examine it, test it, do all those things, and disprove it. I think everybody would be happy with that. That's reasonable. And a lot of the times that's basically what any of us are asking for, a very reasonable ask.
Yeah.
Well, and Dibble spends most of his time just shutting you guys down, or trying. Yeah.
It's a full-time job.
He doesn't do a good job of it.
Yeah.
But imagine if he put a lot of effort into it and actually, like you just said, went and debunked it. Do the work to debunk the people that are saying stuff. Like, if they have a theory, go debunk it and give me some facts. That's what I want. I want the truth. And a lot of us do. So go find it.
Those would be great videos. People would watch those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Adam, to go to your point, like, this reluctance to even go exploring, it's like, guys, the hidden chamber within the Great Pyramid that was discovered 8 years ago through legitimate scientific muon technology. So they've confirmed that there is a void in there. 8 years ago, and they still haven't drilled into it. What's going on? Like, that in itself is a really bizarre fact, where it's like with all the debate and conjecture about the Great Pyramid, how it was constructed, nobody knows. Was it really built to be a tomb, or is it some sort of lost technology? If we got into that empty chamber, maybe there's answers in there on how it constructed. Maybe there's lost tooling in there for all we know. They could answer so many questions, and they could drill into it by the end of the weekend, because it's not that difficult. And they still haven't, 8 years, and they haven't done it. That's the part that makes my head explode. I'm like, I don't understand. What is the issue?
Do you think they have drilled into it and they're just not telling us?
They already know.
If I had to bet money, I have no proof. I have the true answer is that I don't know. But if I had, it's hard for me to wrap my head around that. If I was in charge, in Turkey, or not in Turkey, in Egypt, the Ministry of Antiquities, I would have looked. I would have, you know what I mean?
course.
And so it is entirely
100%.
possible they've done it on the DL. And that's the part that's a
think
little
so.
depressing, because it's like, why wouldn't they have? And they could seal that up and nobody would know. They could seal that thing right up.
Exactly.
Yep. And they've checked stuff out in the past and not told anybody and denied it, you know, and it's clear that they did, especially under the Sphinx. But
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
drilled under the Sphinx and covered that hole.
Yep. They said there was nothing down there. They sealed the hole.
Nothing to
They said
see.
There's nothing. Okay. And I'm like, show me what nothing looks like. I just want to see an empty hole. Show me
Yeah.
the
Give
hole.
me a picture.
What does nothing look like? So it's bizarre stuff like that. I'm like, come on, guys, you're not doing it on the up and up. Just show the proof, and everyone will shut up. But the proof is always in the cover up, and there's something odd about the way they handle the things in secrecy. So.
well, we're still part of this old guard that Graham's talked about that's still around, even though the Dibbler's young. He's definitely entrenched in this old guard that's never had their authority questioned, never been truly questioned. And now that the internet, the soup that you cannot unmake has been around for long enough, they don't know how to deal with it. So, because before they would just ruin your career. Like if you talked about Atlantis, you're done forever. Goodbye. You know, if you went against gradualism, you're done forever, or at least for almost 100 years until they give you an award the day before you die. You know, like that's
For
that's
that
the way
generation, you're gone.
Yeah. And now things are changing now, but oops, stop it. My mic
Don't
is
touch
buzzing.
it.
I touched it.
Oh.
Okay.
Continue. There.
I enjoy the sound. Keep touching it.
Yeah.
Stop.
It reminds
encourage
me of
him.
plugging in my bass. Hang on. Take it over, Garrett.
Oh,
Oh my
God.
goodness. Yeah, it's really interesting to see. And my question is, if these places want to have more tourism, discovering new aspects of these pyramids would bring more tourists. So why do they have this reluctancy to look into anything?
I'd love to answer that because I disagree with you just on the premise that I don't think they need to make any new discoveries to increase tourism. They
Not in
just
Egypt,
need to market more. And what I've discovered from traveling around the world to like hundreds and hundreds of sites is that once they reach a certain level of excavation of a site, that's it. They hit a point of marketability and tourism.
It's a tourist location now.
Yeah, it's
not an excavation for science.
What we've seen at Gobekli Tepe and on our recent trip, Jimmy and I's, and this is what we've seen and what I've seen at sites, hundreds of sites around the world, is they're no longer archaeological sites primarily. They're tourist destinations and cash cows. They're money makers. And that is the focus. And archaeology, if it continues to happen at all, is secondary to that. Yeah.
That's really disappointing. That's really sad.
Really sad.
It was.
Well, is there a way to find a balance? Sorry, Jimmy, please.
No, you're good. No, please go.
Oh, I just was asking, is there a way to find a balance? Because it feels like that's just the inevitable with any of these sites, because people are going to go.
When you have contracts like what's in place at Göbekli Tepe, where the Doge group is doing 20-year contracts with millions and millions of dollars in investment, which probably will renew in 20 years when that contract is up. I don't think so, right? Because they effectively are in control of that site, and they manage the site, they run the site, they develop the site. The archaeologists are not in control anymore of these sites once they start cutting deals. It's all about the money.
Yep.
So
that's a shame.
Human greed.
You can argue, archaeologists can argue this point as much as they want, but the proof is in the results. The proof is in the final results at all of these sites around the world. And that it doesn't get any clearer than what they have all become. Restaurants on site, gift shops, paved walkways, drive-ups, roof systems, walking paths, trees, all these things are made for tourists. And that's where the money goes. And the way that they handle these sites is developing them like they're doing in Egypt right now with the Sphinx, encasing the Sphinx in modern stone. So the Sphinx that I've seen is not the Sphinx the generation before me saw, and it won't be the same Sphinx the next generation sees when they go to see it. And that's just what's happening. So there has to be a disconnect, I think, between the these, that's really where it comes in, is these contracts that are signed to turn over effectively the sites to these groups, these outside sources. Yeah.
If there was one takeaway that I had from when we went to Gobekli Tepe, it's very clear they have no intention to fully excavate it anytime soon. It was actually worse than I thought. And let me just plug Mike real quick, because you got your video coming out on Gobekli Tepe this week. Mine should be out by next weekend. And our videos after that are going to be the explosive ones, where we show conclusive evidence of destructed ruins through these archaeological processes of putting infrastructure in for tourism. And like, that's like kind of the emphasis. It's like, it was worse than I thought. Like, when you really look at Gobekli Tepe, it's one thing to see like a 2D image, but when you're there seeing it in 3D, I couldn't help but think, I'm like, this is all you've done in 29 years? I made a point. I was like, even if they just removed a few more inches or feet of rubble, that would not be enough. But like, the fact that they didn't even remove a little bit more, you need to see it. Like, half the pillars are still buried. And I'm like, how is this it? Like, it couldn't be more clear that their entire focus is tourism. And it's in writing, by the way. I have the articles. Like, they have literally said that large-scale excavations of the past are no longer the focus. They're focusing on preserving the site and tourism. It's in writing. People still disagree with me on this. I'm like, I've never said that excavations had stopped. I have said that any meaningful excavation to excavate the site and all the pillars within our lifetime has been deferred for, quote, future generations, with a timetable of 150 years. And I'm thinking, like, I don't understand, like, how can anybody with any type of enthusiast for lost ancient history be content on living the rest of their life not knowing what's waiting to be discovered? Because like 90% of it is still under the ground. So I'm like, I don't understand where, and I do believe they could make more money by excavating it. Like, Mike makes a good point, and he's correct. But part of me thinks that, like, if they marketed something like for example, you can rent out the Great Pyramid in the off hours in the middle of the night, and for a few $1,000s you can have exclusive access. I'm like, well, they could put lights on at Gobekli Tepe, have and times when the archaeologists are there working it, charge some insane amount of money to be able to witness them doing it. I'd pay it. I'd go. Like, a lot of people would go. They could make money doing that. But it's like,
good point.
Maybe they're just bad at business or something. But I'm like, I don't think they're that bad at business, because the Doges group, like Mike was saying, they got that 20-year contract, and they got all that infrastructure. They had those nice vans and everything escorting people just a half mile from the visitor center to the site, which was so unnecessary. It was like a 90-second car ride. It was so unnecessary. But like, you see it, it's like, when it comes to these billionaires, like, it just seems like they're just, I've invested enough, give me my money, and that's it.
And slip me some of the good shit, that you find.
From
my house.
Also,
Probably.
well, I was always thinking that there was some sort of proof that the Göbekli sites showed, something under there that proved the Adam and Eve story correct. That's why the CIA was trying to get rid of that, or the catastrophes are continuous, and like, that's what they're kind of trying to show us. Like, we were a peak civilization. The Atlantis, civilization was a thing, and maybe they were trying to keep that down. And now I'm hearing all this stuff, and it's just like, is it as simple as it's just money? Is it that simple? And it's so sad, because it makes the most sense.
It could actually, Occam's razor is like, it's just money.
I know.
But like Jimmy said, they can make more money. So they're being really short-sighted, or there's something really evil and duplicitous going on. I can believe either.
I think it's a cost. It's an analysis. How much do we invest?
Cost benefit,
into, how much do we invest? Versus how much are we return? And if we don't have to invest any more, and we're gaining X,
they're never going to.
Why invest any more into this? And you don't build a massive. When they, Jimmy shared a clip with me from the live stream that Dibble and Milo did. Yeah. And they're talking about, they really started laughing about, you think that they didn't know where they were putting the pillars? It's like, I get that you college boys probably have never worked construction jobs or done any hard manual labor in your life before.
Facts.
But when I see those pillars, I see hundreds of day workers and laborers crawling around ancient ruins, digging up with heavy machinery and equipment. and things being lifted up on cranes and stuff
Yeah.
to drop those poles into place directly piercing
And you
through the
need
heart
to
of
have
the-
surplus. You got to feed these people. I doubt they're going to
Yeah.
work for free, right?
Yeah.
They need rests. They need water. There's no fucking water anywhere around there.
So this would have been a major construction
Yeah.
and project of with who knows how many feet of unqualified people tramping around. And here's the thing. Here's the funny thing, is they continue to profess like, act like they know. The YouTubers and tourists, the ones that benefit the most, myself, Jimmy, other people, tourists, are the ones calling this out, not the field that should be protecting these ancient sites. And it's mind-boggling.
It's actually abhorrent. Like I'm a little in disbelief, like on to what level. Like people can debunk my WEF conspiracy. Like even I have walked away from that a bit. Like I'm not ruling it out because the CEO of the Doges Group is a longtime member of the WF. I find that odd, but like let's just walk away from that and like just focus on the reality of it. And it's like, I don't know, something doesn't add up. Like something ain't right, because like just the most recent study on Gobekli Tepe suggested it's the world's oldest lunar solar calendar, which essentially is a way of tracking the moon cycles and the sun for a calendar. This is an 11,600-year-old site minimum. That's just when it was buried. There's actually new evidence suggesting that it's 15,000 years old. And I'm like, when we're talking about cataclysms and stuff, and we know the Younger Dryas being 11,600 years ago, and this potentially being a calendar, that would validate Graham Hancock's proposal that this site may be a time capsule of some kind. And so when I look at like the powers that be that are really, really trying to withhold this man-made climate change narrative, maybe they wouldn't want some sort of ancient catastrophe to be at the front page of the science headlines, because that'll make people start asking questions to think that, oh, maybe it's not all human-based. Maybe there's other things that happen in cycles that are a factor that should be talked about. Like this is my own little way of thinking, but like, something just doesn't add up. I just can't understand why they wouldn't dig further.
Jimmy,
That's where my head's at.
we got it all wrong, because the hunter-gatherers just woke up one morning barefoot in their loincloths with their little twig and berries hanging out and go, you know what? I'm done with hunting and gathering.
Bro.
I'm going to carve in relief, and I'm going to be great at it the first time.
The example they have in the museum in where was that?
Sanliurfa Museum. Guys, you got to Google this
Oh
or
my
bring
God.
up. It might be on my Twitter page. Didn't I make a post of this a few
You
days
did.
ago? Like,
I think you did.
You got to see what they have at the museum for showing how the stones of Gobekli Tepe, the pillars were cut and how they were dragged. And guys, they have like Stone Age guys, people with long hair looking dumb, just looking dumb. Like
So wait,
this. There we go.
No, wait,
Oh
keep going,
my
keep going.
god.
Hey, he looks like he's
There
a
it is.
Burning Man.
Look at him, right? I'm like, yeah, that's
just
that
takes a
should make
couple
Gobekli
guys.
Tepe.
wait, no, that's Gary.
Oh my god.
I was
Way back
there.
then.
That's not how I was dressed, though. Okay, I never dressed like a dirty hippie, even though when I couldn't shower.
Gary, you got to disclose your sponsorship at the Sanliurfa Museum, man. Come on, now's the time to come clean.
Come
You're
on.
on the payroll,
No.
just admit it.
I sold my likeness from back then, because that was when I was about 20 at the time. I was a young man, carving in relief.
I
was
mean,
good
I
at
don't know. We don't know what you're capable of, Gary. You're now pushing ethnically sourced coffee. So
Yeah.
Everything's on the table now.
Hey, it makes
Yeah.
you younger. Look how good he looks for being 15,000 years old.
Yep. Oh, it's not the years, honey. It's the mileage. Okay.
Why do they show it, like, literally, like, for how sophisticated Gobekli Tepe is, it was not built by a bunch of Riris. I don't think so.
No,
I agree.
I just don't.
not a
just
chance.
don't.
And the other
That's
thing
the
we
same
don't
as the
see-
pyramids.
I mean,
they
correct-
were professionals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they were good contractors. They found good contractors
point.
back then. There were
Right.
still Atlantean contractors. There were still some around. The rates were a little higher, but
Yep.
no. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there is little to no evidence of a buildup, of a buildup of it's doing it again. Sorry, but I'm going to finish my sentence here. Of a buildup to this site. Like there's no practice going on.
Yeah. There's nothing.
Right.
It's inexplicable.
Well,
There's no.
maybe.
Yeah.
Underneath,
Maybe if they,
Yeah.
there might be, down in the ground somewhere, there might
Jimmy,
be
you
older
said-
sites.
how many T pillars are still buried that
So-
we found?
According to ground penetrating radar, they estimate that there's 200 total, and only 100, or excuse me, only 72 have been exhumed, which means that there's approximately 128 still buried under the ground. And they all have depictions on them. They all are telling a story. And I'm like, because these archaeologists will say, we never fully excavated a site. Look at Pompeii. It's still mostly under the ground. I'm like, nobody's suggesting that Pompeii is a mysterious site with like secrets about the origins of mankind. It's like, this is not the same conversation. So there's more than 100 underground. So like, that's the part that, like, Adam, you're mentioning potential, like, Noah's Ark and stuff. I'm like, guys, Noah's Ark, if it existed, its resting site is believed to have been on Mount Ararat in Turkey, which is not all that far away. It's a couple hundred miles. But as far as like on the map, it's in the same geographical location. And when a lot of people don't realize that the first verse after Noah left the ark, he was said to build an altar for the Lord where he sacrificed some of every clean animal and some of every clean bird. And guys, there's birds and weird animals all over these pillars depicted. And I think there could be a religious implication.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Oh my God.
That's my favorite explanation of the site.
Me too. I think there could be something there.
Yeah.
And it would go with Younger Dryas, right, in that same time period, with the floods, with all the stories. That would be interesting.
You know what's wild? Someone in the comments is going to be like, shut up, that you ruined it with the Bible stuff. And I just want to be like, hey guys, like, I'm calling on further excavation. If you agree on that, everyone needs to unite and stop fighting on what it could or couldn't be. Because I got lit up for suggesting it was Noah's Ark stuff, and I'm like, listen.
I don't think you will here.
Dig it up. And then something else. While I'm on a soapbox, they'll say, we need to wait for future technologies to develop to safely exhume the rest of the site. And I'm like, what type of magic shovel or pressure hose are we talking about?
Yeah.
And they contradict themselves because there's no known examples of them having damaged any of these pillars while digging them from under the ground. Because like, if they were breaking stuff, I could understand. It's like, okay, they need to back this up. Let's kind of reevaluate how we're doing this. But that hasn't even happened. Come on, like digging things up. It's 2025. We have the technological capability to do it. So it's like, it's gaslighting. I know when I'm being gaslit, and that's gaslighting.
The only damage that they've done is from them making the freaking those steel pylons for the walkways around the site.
Or covering the site. Graham goes off about that, covering the site so you don't see it with the stars, which is, crazy. But like, it's not like they're going to like fucking blow it up with dynamite. They're going to, there's ways to like, they've been, archaeologists have been excavating for years. They managed to not break bones.
They use paintbrushes to like dust the way, and I'm like, oh, so we need to wait for future technological paintbrush to come out too.
Yes.
You got to read the scientific papers, Gary. You're stop being so pseudoscientific. You don't know how it works. You don't know archaeology.
You Neanderthal.
Flint Dibble knows how to do this, and that's the end of it. That's how they are. God,
I'd hate to live in a world where we'd have to rely on the Flint Dibbles of the world. Well, almost had it. Europe, sorry, but it's ridiculous. Again, we're searching for other sites, and we know this shit is there. It's not like we're the possibility of a labyrinth or some lost city in the fucking jungle or even Atlantis. We know this shit is there. You can dig and find it right now and expand it. And there's multiple others. Karahan Tepe, which is crazy. That place. And then Andrew and Hugh, there's that whole town that they had to move because they found a site under the town and the town knew it was there. And they're like, we don't want to tell anybody because they're going to kick us all out. And guess what? They kicked them all out.
What if that was Sabork?
Yes, that was it. That was it. Yeah.
Mike, I think we can share this, right? This is something that's we can totally open up on. We went in there big time. I broke some rules.
Shit.
Well, there's no signs. There was no fencing. And we went in there and I crawled around in there. I was very respectful and very careful, but I got a lot of photos.
Yes.
And this is in the middle. This is on the side of the road with a bunch of houses around it. And this lady gets on her phone while holding her baby and is watching us, as Nikki from Nikki and the Jones had told us afterwards. And it looked like she was calling somebody to report on us, and we just got the fuck out of there. We had the rental car. We took off. But yeah, we went in there. Mike, what were your thoughts on that?
It was weird because the roofing, they put a roofing system over the whole thing, and it was so low to the ground, it's not really even accessible unless you crawl under it into the site. So it's like
weird.
clearly not like a working site, which I guess, it just, and the roofing system is built into the site as well.
Yeah.
Now this is a smaller system, but I don't know. It was interesting. They would need to look like that whole area and you're right. It was right in the middle of a little village. And I wonder if they're going to eventually turn that into something, because if that was something, it is so close to the city there, San Lierfa. I mean, that would be just a major tourist site. And so I can't see them not eventually doing that just because of the money they can probably make off of it.
Garrett, look up what that might look like.
Yeah, type in SAYBURC, cyborg is how they pronounce it, I believe. It's like a miniature Gobekli Tepe. It has the same type of pillars. They're just much smaller. And it's wild. That's the one cool thing, is that when you go to Gobekli Tepe or Karahan Tepe, you can't touch anything. But here, I went down in there and I touched the pillars. And
so all that's covered with roofs now.
Yeah, tin roofs, metal.
This whole location.
It's really right in the middle of a neighborhood.
It really is, yeah.
Yep.
Which is probably on top of even more, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yes.
Oh, so much.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
All
I mean,
those
they
houses.
found this while building a house, from what I understand, or were reconstructing or something. It's only
like Derinkuyu.
inches below the ground. Yeah, just like Derinkuyu, which we went in there, and that place. Oh my God, we should chat about
I
that.
wanna go.
That place blew my mind. That place
definitely
was
want to
wild.
talk about that.
Yeah. That.
Oh, hell yeah. I
So
can't
that
wait to
whole
go
hill, that entire hill that small village there is on is more than likely an entire archaeological site.
They'd have to bulldoze houses to get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, well,
And I'm not calling on that. I'm not calling on that, believe it or not. Well, they should buy their houses over the price. And
yeah.
you know.
If you give them over
Who's
asking
they?
price, like well over, there's-
The government, or like where would the money come from? Say these people wanted to like leave. How could where would it be funded by, right? That's the question.
yeah.
Hey, Garrett,
The Turkish ministry.
Garrett, what's the symbols
Yeah.
up there at the top of the page?
Up here, it's a Republic of Turkey, Ministry of Cultural and Tourism. And
Well, that
this
would be
one,
where the
I
money
can't
would
see this
probably come
one.
from.
All right.
Yeah,
Cyborg.
is that the guy like holding his member, right? So there's a lot of that over there.
Yeah.
This one.
Yep.
Yeah. Is it broken off? Poor guy. Poor guy.
Disgruntled
There he is.
ex-wife from 12,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Things happen.
Some things never change.
We saw that.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
Were
it's
the
down, built on
squares
top of
are
the
the
town.
squares the way that it existed, or is that just how they excavated?
That's how they excavate.
That's like
Yeah.
the
Okay,
grid
okay.
system that they excavate.
how they do it. They go down in a grid. Okay.
Isn't it crazy how like Göbekli Tepe and all the tepes around there like really mirror what Malta looks like?
Yes.
In a lot of
Yeah.
ways. Isn't that strange?
Yeah. Mike's been there. Hey, Mike, I got to give you a shout out. Like, you're very humble about it, but I genuinely believe, and if I'm wrong, forgive me, but I'm pretty sure that nobody else besides Graham Hancock, anyone else in this realm, I should say, has been to more sites around the world than Mike Collins. Like, you have been to so many that you're constantly forgetting. I'm like, we'll be having a random conversation. Like, oh, I've been there too. And I'm like, I'm not kidding. Like, you've been, 5 continents around the world and literally hundreds of sites. No one besides Graham Hancock has been to more places than you, from my understanding. You have tons of documentation. A lot of people don't know that about you, man. You should probably, I think you need to harp on it because
I
there's
appreciate
something to
that.
be said for it.
I do. I forget. I will be talking about places, and I'm like, oh crap! I actually been there. Yeah, and I forget about it sometimes, or think about it later. But yeah, I appreciate that, and it's been a wild adventure, and I'm moving into a time right now where I think there's a system in place for releasing a lot of this stuff that I'm sitting on. I'm probably sitting on close to 20 terabytes worth of travel footage from around the world, man.
Oh my goodness.
So.
Wow.
I've got a whole shelving system of hard drives.
The audience is waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
certainly am.
But yeah, I'm doing my best to get all that out to everybody in a good, quality way moving forward. So I appreciate that, Jimmy.
Let
Thank
me
you.
plug you one more time because, hey, Adam, there's a chance you've already seen some of this stuff because he's been selling his footage to various networks, including Discovery Channel, History Channel,
Ancient Aliens.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you're watching documentaries and stuff, like they'll buy his drone footage, and a lot of these shots, like Rogan has cited, while looking at the caves in China as an example, and a lot of people don't realize, like, no, this is Mike Collins' work. Like a lot of people just don't know it.
Yeah, I spent several years not remembering to put watermarks on some of my stuff.
That's too bad. Too bad.
I figured it out eventually. So, but
Eventually.
worked with Ancient Aliens and some different programs, history and discovery and stuff, and it's been good. Yeah, people like the drone footage. I think it really adds a perspective to a site that gives the viewer kind of an understanding of scale, which is, I think, really important. And the drone footage is, I think, hugely necessary to do that, to give you the sense of scale when you're watching, because sometimes it's hard to tell on site, filming yourself or filming it, exactly what you're looking at or how to in your head orientate yourself for the site. And drone footage is just an easy way to do that.
It helps, and you know what? It still doesn't do justice to what like these sites are. I've only been to one, but when we went to Sexy Woman, that was fucking epic. I could not believe what I was seeing. I was like, oh shit, the pictures don't do any justice at all.
Sexy Woman changed my life. That was the first place, ancient site, I ever went to. And I touched those stones, and it was at that site. And I was like, I had just quit working a career in sales, was taking a year off. I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought I was going to go back. I went to Sexy Woman in Peru, and I was like, this is what I'm doing. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm not stopping doing this. So, yeah, it was cool to see that you had the same experience, Gary. And I got all you guys' pictures and stuff and on video.
Yeah,
doing it.
It's that's such an amazing site. That all of Peru is really, really great, and it, like you're right, it does not do it justice. You have to be there to see a lot of these places. But yeah, like the drone footage in your Peru discovery video, that really set the scale, how big you are to the scale of that site. It's super important for those shots. And yeah, I can't wait to see the other sites that you've been to. Like you've been to so many places, and we need to see that.
Start popping them out, and we need to get Adam on one of these.
So
yes, we do.
Yeah, dude. So let's reset. Like for the people who don't know, anybody new, the trees of Gobekli Tepe. You want to break that down, Jimmy, real quick?
Sure. So. Gobekli Tepe was discovered back in like the 60s, I think it was, but it wasn't initially excavated or rediscovered, I should say, into the early 90s. Back in 1994, 1995 is when excavations began. At that time, the land was privately owned. The Turkish government was looking to purchase the land, and the landowners, in order to increase the value, because they were getting lowballed, planted approximately 1,000 olive trees all around the site in the 2005-2006 timeframe. Well, that's like 30 years ago now. And I was making, basically my first video on my channel was on Göbekli Tepe. This is from 2017. And I had backburned the topic for a number of years because I'm like, okay, it's only been 5% excavated. Let me give it a few years and I'll revisit and see when there's something new to chat about. So this time last year, I started digging into it, and I was coming across estimations that it was still at only 5% excavated. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, how is there no measurable difference by now? So I look at that photo right there, and I made a very simple question. I said, well, if 95% of the site is still under the ground, and Göbekli Tepe, as you see with that white roof right there, is only a small portion of it, I'm like, are any of these trees planted on top of ancient ruins? And then I was able to get a Dr. Oliver Dietrich, who is an archaeologist who had worked on the site, and I corresponded with him on Twitter, and I asked him, are any of these trees planted on ruins? And he said yes. And then I'm like, well, aren't trees notorious, their roots, for damaging stuff underneath because like if you're going to plant a tree next to the foundation of your house, it could ruin your basement. It can disrupt piping, electrical lines, sidewalks. Like this is not rocket science. And
It's common
so
knowledge.
and so I basically put it on blast. And so fast forward a couple months after that, there was a bunch of uproar caused over this. It basically caused the Turkish authorities to respond to some of the claims that I had made, and they tried to debunk me saying excavations had not stopped. And I'm like, I literally had never said that. I very specifically stated they had not stopped. But long story short, Dr. Lee Clare, who's the head of fieldwork and research of Gobekli Tepe, did a live stream with Flint Dibble on August 23rd, 2024. And at that time, Dr. Clare had said that they were they were monitoring the roots, and if there's ever an issue involving damage to the ruins below, it would be addressed. That was in August. Fast forward to December. Or was it
How do you do
January?
that? How do you monitor the roots?
They don't. They don't. Like,
It's a straight up lie.
That's bullshit.
Well, I can tell you that they lied because fast forward just a few months later, and all of a sudden, it's in the headlines saying that the tree roots were confirmed to be damaging the ruins beneath them, and so they were going to be removed. There you go. That's one of my favorite headlines right there. And
Here is why.
By the way,
Yeah.
Jimmy, seriously,
Good job.
that was
Well
that's all
done,
you.
man.
listen,
Yeah.
That was amazing.
I am very proud over this because I'm like, listen, I've kind of resented the term like social media influencer, but what's so significant about this that I want everyone listening to understand is that like I made a video questioning the archaeological practices there. I raised the issue, one, for the fact that the trees signify that there is no intention within the immediate future to fully excavate the site because the trees are buried on top of a significant amount of ancient ruins. So that's number one. Number two, do they stand to damage the ruins beneath them? And long story short, that created an uproar, so they went and checked, and they confirmed that they were damaging the ruins. And my point is this, is that like, if some YouTuber making videos in his spare bedroom can create some sort of meaningful change in an archaeological site, across the world, guys, it's showing that like the court, I'm gonna put this in my video, that in my first video on the Göbekli Tepe controversy that I made, I said it's only gonna be through the court of public opinion that any type of meaningful difference can be made. And it actually worked. I was astonished to see it, and it was surreal to be out at Göbekli Tepe on like the last day of the removing these trees, which was, the timing of that to me is divine. I'm a believer.
cool.
I'm like, what are the odds of that? What are the odds? Yeah, that's our footage. And so I'm like, come on, guys, like social media can have some real impact. If you create enough controversy over something significant, it can make a meaningful change. And so like, it's surreal to see it. I'm very proud about it. There's the shot. Yeah, me with the sunglasses and hat that I never wear. $10 hat on Amazon that I was able to fold up and bring with me on the trip because I don't really wear hats anymore.
Incognito.
I was afraid
They want to
What was
kick you
that?
out. They want to kick you
Yeah.
out for this. Like
I was afraid of that because Dr. Nekmi Kurul, who's the head of archaeology for at least for these sites there in Turkey, had said that I would be sanctioned for what I had stated about their sites. And I'm like, does that mean I'm going to be banned from the country, or does that mean that I'm banned from Göbekli Tepe? I don't know the answer. So in my mind, I'm like, if there's one place in Turkey that I could be recognized, it'd be there. So I'm like, let me put some sunglasses and hat on because I'm not going to travel 8,000 miles to get the boot once I get there.
Right.
And
sneaky.
yeah. And in fact, while we're there, Mike, you should tell the story because you spotted it before I did. It seemed like these two guys were really, really watching us. You tell the story because you witnessed it first.
They were. We kind of noticed them, when we were sitting there talking and filming, and then we were moving on, and they kept following us. So I kind of hung back, and once we split up, they were still focused on you, but they weren't walking past me at that point. So I was filming, acted like I was filming, and turned my camera to them, and they clearly tried to get out of the camera shot. So it definitely felt like there was some recognition there, or something was going on. But we were starting to leave the site, kind of get followed by those guys.
Yeah, and when you brought it up to me, I started like watching them through the side eye, through the glasses, and I noticed a few times they were looking at their phone and looking back. Now, I'm not saying they recognized me because I'll never know, but maybe they were just curious, like, oh, who are these Americans filming out here? And maybe it was just as simple as that. I'll never know. All I know is that we left, and that was without incident. So
Well, and
That's
what was freakier is that when we got back down to the pickup zone,
oh god, yeah.
there were like 6 or 7 cops on motorcycles, and we were like, "Oh, dude, what is this about?" And that had just happened, so we were like,
some of them in
Great.
military
Down
uniform,
our
like
head.
tourism police. And I'm like, but they weren't looking for anybody. They were just literally talking. So I'm like, okay, they're not here for me, but it did weird me out for at least a minute where I'm like, oh no. But then I quickly realized they're not doing anything. They weren't looking for anybody. But I was a little
Had
paranoid out
worked.
there. I was paranoid, guys. Like, if I'm being honest, like, I'm like, my worst fear is that I'm booking these flights, I'm going out there to document sites for videos and spend a pretty penny to get out there. And I'm like, if I get the boot, this would suck. So I was nervous about it. So I wore
let
the hat.
alone going to pound me in the A jail.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, in
Jimmy,
Turkey.
you ever been in a Turkish prison?
I have this little feeling that Jimmy would not hold up well in a Turkish prison. I think I'd get split in half, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
and
no.
Wow.
That wouldn't go well.
You'll have a pretty mouth, boy.
Yeah. We like American, yes. Yeah, American, nice. But yeah, all was well. But that did freak me out a little bit when those guys were on the phone. I'm like, oh fuck, like, do they recognize me? I'll never know. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know.
They were definitely following us around.
Yeah, that once you pointed out, it was very obvious.
And the way they tried to jump out of my camera shot was very telling to me.
Yeah.
And they were following us until they kind of realized, I think, that we were onto them. And yeah, like you said, who knows what it was all about? But yeah, they definitely were. They were onto us. I think you needed bigger sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those
Going
big
back to
Gucci
the
ones or whatever.
Yeah.
thank God I had those. Those are some glasses I bought like 5-6 years ago, and I just never wear sunglasses anymore. And I'm glad I still had them. But the one thing though, going back to the trees, the one thing that bothers me the most is that I'm seeing academics, including Flint Dibble, they're trying to rewrite history. And so yesterday there was a live stream that was aired, or maybe it was the day before, with Flint Dibble and Milo Rossi, who's Mini Minuteman, who has a YouTube channel with 2.5 million followers. And they were trying to rewrite history and claim that there was a site management plan made years ago to remove the trees. And I already know that's false because I've done the research and I already looked at the site management plans, and there's a few of them. And I already went through them. And of course, I double checked after they made the statements. And I did, the Control F, word searching everywhere. Let me be clear. You will not find a single site management plan for Gobekli Tepe that discusses the trees whatsoever, much less any type of plan to remove them. And they were planning on going on Piers Morgan because they believed that we were going to go on to the topic of Gobekli Tepe. And they were building their blocks to refute me on the spot and claim that I was wrong. And I'm like, guys, that's fake news. There was no plan to remove these trees. And you have Dr. Lee Clare, as of August of 2024, months after I made these videos, literally stating that they're monitoring the trees, and if there's ever an issue, they'll address it. So as of that time, there was no plan in place, no knowledge of any kind to remove the trees. And let me say this, let's just pretend they did have a plan to remove the trees. Even though I know that's false, but let's just say that it's true. Well, then are you going to say that you knew that these roots were damaging the trees for years and then waited to remove them? Is that the angle we're now going to take? Like, which is it? So I know the truth of what happened, but it bothers me that other YouTubers have come out too to try and say this had nothing to do with Jimmy Corsetti. And I'm like, guys, like, nobody was talking about the trees. I'm not trying to gloat here. It's just that, like, if a YouTuber can make meaningful change at a site, the oldest archaeological site on Earth, like, don't fucking taint on that. And it's like other YouTubers and other people, every one of us here now understand that we have the power to make meaningful change when it comes to certain issues in archaeological sites. And so it's like, don't rob the internet nerds of what actually happened. Like, just tell them.
Well, they don't like that though. That's the thing. And
it's
it
not
was followed up
establishment.
with you can hear it in their condescending laughter when they talked about that 2-year plan, and then they both like laugh about it because they're like basically just like soaking in the lie that they were right and just running with that. We're just gonna go with that. Jimmy was wrong. See, we made up. I don't know if they made it up or where they got that information, but
they're just
it was
operating
bullshit.
on false information. And the
Correct.
thing is that, like, I think what it comes down to is this. Like, so Milo Rossi was trashing me, being like, Jimmy's just a tourist out there. And I'm like, no, you should probably call me an investigative journalist because I was there to look. I was there to study the place. And maybe some of these people are bothered at the fact that they have been to Gobekli Tepe years ago, and it did not occur to them to ask, 95% of the site is underground? Are any of these trees, are the ruins under any of these trees? They didn't think to ask that, and then once they became aware of it, they didn't think to ask if the tree roots would damage the ruins. And in fact, in the case of Flint Dibble, he had actually defended the trees and said that they're going to help preserve the soil. It's in writing. He said this. I have it. I have the receipts. And so it's like, hey, bro, maybe you're a little bit upset that it didn't occur to you, Dr. PhD of archaeology, that's a university lecturer, to ask these questions. Like, let me just make this point, like, because my critics are like, well, Jimmy's not an archaeologist. He studied business. I'm like, hey, I was an investigator at Target, which might sound silly to some, but I do have the knack that when someone's telling me something that I think might not be true, I start asking questions, and I'm like, well, how do you know that? Tell me how you know that. Tell me how this is true or not true. And that's all I did. Like, this wasn't rocket science. And so it's like, I don't know. I just feel like the way they try to diminish like what the reality of it is just, I think it just hurts their credibility, because it's like, where was the archaeological uproar from their community among PhDs to address these issues at Göbekli Tepe? Why are they going on this live stream defending the 150-year time frame? Like, if you guys are true enthusiasts of lost ancient history, you know as well as I do that it is fully possible to excavate a little bit quicker than that.
Yeah.
So, you know,
where's the curiosity?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be, you're professionally supposed to be curious, and you're getting schooled by regular people, and that's what bothers the hell. I mean, that's YouTube, Jimmy.
Oh, it's at least 0-1 now.
At least.
Hey,
I'm not going to trust any motherfucker who can't like wear clothes that fit. Okay, he can't turn his neck.
You know, one point I want to make, and this will sound off topic, but it relates. So when I was actually at Target, and I was an intern for them, I remember this executive that came in to talk with us, because at that time, this is back in the 2011 timeframe, 2012. Basically, at that time, Walmart was actively trying to significantly grow their online sales to compete with Amazon.
I remember.
And so the story goes that Walmart had hired an executive from Pepsi. And Pepsi, a lot of people think, oh, you know, soda or Taco Bell. It's like, no, if there's one thing that Pepsi-Cola does is that they are a distributor, expert distributors. And that's why, so as the story goes, that day one of this new person who got hired on the job at Walmart apparently identified some sort of significant avenue of improvement that made real changes within Walmart. They saw it on day one. Someone who had never worked retail a day in their life, that was just involving supply chain management at Pepsi, was able to identify. So my point is this, is that when you get outsiders that didn't study archaeology their whole life, that get into a narrow focus, you could bring other outsiders in that see something that others wouldn't have seen. And the case in point is the roots on top of ancient ruins at Göbekli Tepe. So
yeah,
they're asking you're asking the right questions. They're not asking any questions.
Right.
On these sites, bringing in engineers and actual geologists, multiple discipline people. You're absolutely getting new eyes on thing is always good, and discussion is always good. And listen, there's academic guys out there, and some of them will be at the Cosmic Summit with us, who like will listen to this stuff and be open minded, and they're the good ones, But most the Dibbler, like he's going to be like Ernest,
aka Fuddy Duddy.
He's going to be your Ernest, right? So like Ernest is the guy they always throw on Piers Morgan with me, just to be the contrarian with me and Drinker, just to be fucking wrong about everything, which is fine. But like he needs that, because I mean, listen, I love Piers. I don't agree with him on anything like Jimmy, but it's a shit show. It's supposed to be. It's Jerry Springer. He's
entertaining.
Springer.
It's great.
And it's very entertaining. So
can't look away. It's like it's one of those things. Like, all right, I gotta watch this.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And the Dibbler in any of these conversations is already compromised. Like, we found him multiple times lying about his stances, lying to the point of knowledgeable, knowing that he's lying, and misinterpreting information. So, like, not by himself lying, but lying by omission. So he's completely useless in any of these conversations, and that nobody should ever be taking this guy seriously outside. Like, go study your seeds outside. And if there's anything seed related, we'll come talk to you maybe.
Well, we talked about it before the show with the trees. It's like those ruins were perfectly preserved for 12,000 years with no fucking trees on top somehow.
The
They
dirt
managed
was
to
fine,
survive.
Flint.
Dirt
Yep.
was good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now it's not? Is it
Mm.
climate change? Oh God, don't even fucking start with me on that with
Yeah.
that. shit.
Discrediting
By the way,
himself.
Has Dr. Flint Dibble been to Turkey? No, he has
No,
Oh.
no, he is not.
Wow.
He hates that
Shocker.
because he was trolling on me about this. Like, oh, Jimmy just thinks he's been there. He can speak on this. And him and Milo were saying
Yeah.
that. And it's like, hey, I've been there, man. Like, you
Yeah.
haven't, Flint? Like, okay. Like, there's something to be said for it. It's like, if you're going to diss me, it's like, well, at least you could go out there as a professional and speak on the matter. But
Wouldn't you want to see it
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
professional? Wouldn't you
Yeah.
like, man, I'm gonna take a trip. He's in Europe, right? Isn't he over in Europe?
He's in the UK. Yeah,
it's
he teaches
closer.
in Cardiff University outside London, or an hour outside London, or wherever it's
Couple
at.
$100 ticket, if that.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it.
super cheap. Oh, flights from, because I did this. I connected in London Heathrow and flew to Istanbul. It was, guys, I bought a first class ticket for $300. I could have flown
shit.
there. I could have flown there for $100. Like, it's that cheap
Yeah.
in economy. And so I splurged for the first class because it was only $300. I'm like,
hard.
oh, how could I
Noted.
turn this down?
Dude, I hate flying, so I always fly first class. I just save up. It's
Yep.
really expensive, but it's the only way you're gonna get me on a plane now. So
Yeah.
I do
What
ask
leads us
questions
to-
like if what his area of expertise is ancient seeds and agriculture kind of stuff. He's talking outside of his area of expertise, and he's claiming that you guys don't have the area of expertise either. So is he a pseudoscientist? Like, why does he get to have authority over you when neither of you technically have whatever authority over this site, this specific site? Why does it work for him but not for you?
Because he spent $250,000 on a PhD.
Piece of paper. That's all that.
We got a
This
winner.
piece of paper means I know everything about archaeology over anybody else.
All of
ridiculous.
archaeology also.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
any
excellent.
aspect of it.
I don't remember a goddamn thing from so I got a bachelor's back in 2012, and I don't remember anything from the graduation ceremony except for, I don't remember who said this, but the guy that was giving a little speech said something that I've never forgotten, which is that we are students and we are teachers of everyone we meet. And I guarantee I could learn something from Flint, and I guarantee you he
like
could learn
that.
something from me. It's powerful because it's like, it's true. Somebody else out there knows something you don't, and you could teach them something, they could teach you something. And it's a healthy
point.
mindset.
Love it.
I think
Yeah.
that's my biggest gripe with the educational system is that most people who go through it, or a lot of people that go through it, come out with that mentality that they can't learn it, that they know everything, and that most people don't know that they don't have anything to learn from other people, basically.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't
an arrogant.
stay teachable because they view themselves as experts. So they aren't there. There isn't still like this learning.
Yeah, they build up a mental callus.
It's a
Yeah.
it's the ivory tower guys. They live up
Yeah,
there and they
right.
look down on you like you couldn't possibly understand
they need to.
archaeology.
If
Adam, how
I
dare
don't.
you? How dare you?
Yeah.
Like you see
was
these
good.
you see these books behind me? I've read all of them and you haven't, so just sit there. You don't know. That's kind of how they are.
Or like, if I
I've
haven't
never
read
been
it,
to the
then
site.
you can't.
No, and a lot of them don't go to the sites. But I mean, again, this isn't everyone, but the bad ones out there. Even he's not a scientist, but Michael Shermer, you know, the skeptics out there.
Yeah.
You know, they're just, for one, they're just fucking killjoys. No, they're no fun. But
Right.
none of them like really go out and investigate the stuff because they're not curious about it. They really feel safe in their non-belief of everything. You know,
Yeah.
which is in itself a religious doctrine at this point. You know, I think
Yeah.
we should wake up every day being curious because this is an amazing mystery. This is the greatest mystery of our lifetime, and it's right here. And it's not some unknown thing like UFOs in this alternate history, alternate space you guys occupy and we all occupy. That like the most tangible thing is ancient civilizations. There's we get proof. Sometimes it's very disconnected, but we have things to look at, things to dig up. There are similarities there are genuine mysteries that have not been solved by science, and they hate that. Like generally the institution that wants to distribute the truth, the official version of events, hates not knowing because somebody else might figure it out. And when they do, they deny it every fucking time. We see that with every institution. So that's why it's really important that we have Jimmy and Michael and Andrew Collins and Hugh Newman and everyone else out there running around with doing their tours, Ben from Uncharted X, and going there constantly, because every time you guys go, like I know this for Michael and Jimmy, but and Ben too, they go out there constantly and they're constantly coming up like with new stuff. When they come back, they're like, I discovered something new. You know, I've been here, 50 times and I found something new, because there's so much. And it's,
most of the time when I first started going to places and filming them, I'd try to learn as much as I could about these sites, and I'd watch videos and different things on them. What I realized I was doing was walking past things to get to stuff that I'd already read about or knew about at these sites. Right. I wasn't paying attention well enough. Now when I go to sites, I go as a filmmaker or a documentary that someone who's documenting the site first and foremost, and film the site with an open mind, looking at everything. And I learn about the site generally when I leave later, or I'm making a video, or I'm diving into the subject matter or whatever. But that keeps me from, there's so many things that I've walked past when I first started in the first several years, just walking past things by putting my mind into that framework of what's already been known, what's already been discovered. And it's important to allow your brain to work outside of that, to be able to learn new things or see things in a different light. That could be, I spent years filming sites around the world, and it was only, I did Matt Beal's show, and we started getting into a topic about how they handle these ancient sites. And it was like, it was only then, and this was back in December, I think, before I started thinking about all these sites that I've walked around all over the world without thinking that's made of reconstructed concrete. Why is this walkway over the middle of this space? Why is this way? This entire structure has been recreated. None of this is real. And started looking at things in a different perspective. And you can be wildly kind of have a veil pulled over your eyes if you're not, when you go to these places, or you're just looking at them through pictures and stuff without having an open mind. I mean, there's people that are going to be visiting Gobekli Tepe for years and never think twice about the fact that they're walking directly over the site, and it's built directly. Their walkway they're on is built directly to the site. They're not even going to think about that.
So what the audience is looking at right now, so as I shared in my prior video last year, is that there was a tremendous uproar when they had installed sidewalks and walkways and stuff over ancient ruins. That was back in 2018. The wife of the late Klaus Schmidt, the archaeologist who first started excavations here, it's important to mention that she was an archaeologist herself who worked this site, and she created an uproar when she shared pictures when she was invited to come see the site after they installed the infrastructure. And I made a big uproar over that. And then here we are in 2025, and they're building new sidewalks on top of ruins at this site. Like this little stretch is right along the perimeter. There are ruins just to the left of it, and there's ruins. I wouldn't say there's ruins to the right, but that going straight up there, this is all along the archaeological site itself. That's Göbekli Tepe just to the left. Like it's right there, meters away.
That is right on top of...
And as Adam said, there has to be some kind of happy medium where we can not bulldoze this. And again, they're like, oh, we're preserving this. Think about the pyramids in Mexico, right? Like they're all reconstructed, and the chances of them looking like they did before are fucking slim. Absolutely slim.
I exposed that in this video I've got coming out. Yeah. Basically all of those pyramids are concrete.
Yes.
They're just mountains of concrete. It's, there does have to be a happy medium, but I think I don't know what it is, except to perhaps getting a company doing an investment contract like the Doges Group is doing at Göbekli Tepe for archaeology. And tourism has to take a backseat. And don't get me wrong, I love the fact that I can walk up on sites, film them, and document them. This is great for me, but in the bigger picture for archaeology and these sites and our collective history worldwide, what we're looking at right now is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Especially when they say that we're going to wait 150 years because we don't have the technology to excavate anymore.
Right.
Like, we can drill into the ground and have construction workers walk all over it. That's fine.
Yeah, we can put in $1 million roofing system.
Yeah. I found out the dollar amount yesterday, by the way, Mike.
Did
as you
you?
mentioned. So this whole structure was less than I thought it would be. It was 600,000 euros, which is, I'm assuming, probably 700,000 US. I'm not sure, somewhere around there. Not as expensive as I thought it would be. But what this highlights is a few things. One, it illustrates that there's no intention to fully excavate the site because every single bit of these platforms is literally on top of ancient ruins. And look at these. These are stabbing right through.
Next there.
Right through the heart of the site.
Oh.
And, I'm basically what Mike and I saw at a certain other site leads us to question whether any of these steel beams, when they first drilled into the foundation of this site, the question becomes, were any ruins damaged in the process?
Right.
Archaeologists will say that's not the case here at Gobekli Tepe, but what we saw elsewhere is going to cause an international uproar. You can mark my words on that. It's the worst thing I've ever seen.
I think it's important to point out here is what you're looking at right there in that picture. These aren't just like attached to that spot right there. Those where it slims down, that's the contact point where it hits something else that it's attached to, which has to be attached to a base that's probably to support that roofing system.
Yes.
Somewhere around 20 to 30 feet deep, perhaps.
With concrete.
Now,
and we know that.
From that point,
I'm not just throwing numbers out there. This is Jimmy mentioned that we saw that we have, we're let me just say this.
Gun.
Yes, we aren't pulling numbers out of our ass. Like, we have an understanding of what went into creating this hole because we've seen it, and we know that point, that contact point there where those poles hit, it requires an entire base structure built underneath there that you would have had to drill down through this site, through the actual site, and fill up with concrete or something else to establish a base there that would hold these pillars in place and support that roofing system.
And it's awfully close to those pillars.
It's right there. It's
Right.
like 2 feet away.
Right.
So
it's
one
crazy.
of two things happened.
If that.
If ruins weren't damaged during the construction of this, it is entirely possible that the actual original design of this enclosure in the process, that they may have moved some stuff, because like when it comes to architecture and when it comes to a foundation to support weight above you, like a roof, that's a design that requires not a whole lot of flexibility on where you're going to put these beams. Like, there's only so many places where you can put it for the structure to be sound. And if nothing else, it's ugly. It's in the heart of the site. And here's the point. On top of the fact that it's covering ancient ruins that makes it more difficult to fully excavate it, the reason they did this is for tourism. And what this highlights is a premature construction for the tourism, whereas they should have further excavated before building the damn structure itself in the first place. Archaeology was put on the back burner for tourism that was put at the front load more than anything. That's what this illustrates.
100%.
And that thing is fucking ghastly, man. Like, brutalism over this like ancient art. Now, Jimmy, you were mentioning earlier that the site is it's probably older. Okay, it's probably older than 11,600 years, more likely 15,000 years. And go back to that other picture, Garrett. Go back to the first one where you see the rubble in between the T-pillars. One of the pieces of evidence for this, and you've talked about it, Snake Bros, everybody's talked about it, is see the rubble around these T-pillars. Well, some of that rubble has T-pillars in it, like previous T-pillars in it. So that means they were already up. There were older T-pillars that were broken down or something that were used to prop these up in the past, not by archaeologists or something like that. So it's clearly older. And again, there's no real lead up to like what went into this site. It just popped up out of fucking nowhere. Now there might be other sites that's what we might, if we dug more, Jimmy, we might find out that, like you said earlier, that we'll see the lead up, we'll see the practicing, but we're not going to know for 150 fucking years. That's ridiculous.
It's inexcusable. It is inexcusable. It's entirely unacceptable that they couldn't dig further. And the proof is in the pudding, because like, if you were to find, I don't know if I've shared many of them yet, but if you were just to find pictures of the general enclosure area of Gobekli Tepe itself, you'll be able to see that there's so much of this rubble that could have been removed and you'll find areas where pillars are still halfway dug, into the ground, where it's like, you're telling me you couldn't have removed even a little bit more at this point? Like, I'm going to highlight this greatly when I'm in my video, and I know Mike is as well, but it's like, are you serious? Like that, like Mike, you interviewed me like on site when it's in your video, as I've already seen, hasn't been uploaded to the public yet, but it's like, this is it? Like, it's worse than I thought. Like, you're telling me you couldn't have done a little bit more over 30 years?
Yeah.
Now they've gotten crazy with this stuff. Even when we were at Machu Picchu, Mike, you remember they have that like area dug out and it was completely covered for some. Well, I don't know why. It wasn't the fucking rain.
The gentleman told me specifically because the YouTuber had filmed down there. And
right, that's right.
Cover it up quick.
Fucking
They
YouTubers.
put an entire tent system covering their whole dig so that people couldn't document and report on it until they shared what they wanted to share. So it's this there's a disconnect between the public and the work that's being done. And Jimmy had a great point. You could be working on a site. You could not build like this and build around the site.
Yeah.
And you could have archaeologists working the site and that being the primary focus, and people would come to pay to see archaeologists working an active dig.
So true.
But they, that's where we start getting into this, the whole conspiracy theory aspect of stuff, where why are you keeping things a secret? People are going to say what they want to say anyways and speculate and all these different stuff. And by cover, you're not saving any kind of, I don't know, like, you're not protecting anything by not letting people look and see anything, because people are going to say stuff no matter what. But
unless they're protecting the black market, unless they want to smuggle some relics out of there. And I'm not making any accusations here, but that is a real thing in archaeology. Unfortunately, people steal shit. People do weird things, And
there's no way that sites don't make backroom deals and sell stuff. Also, there's no way that you can claim that doesn't happen. That there's stuff happening at digs in different parts of the world where things are found out of the public eye and then sold off at auction or to people.
And this is proven.
It for sure happens.
That's right. It's an estimated. So for Egyptian mummy antiquities, the black market is estimated between $2 and $6 billion a year. This is based on them doing random audits in like shipping containers and what they found with proposed values. So it's impossible to know the real figure. But let's just say $4 billion, because that's between $2 and $6 billion. That's per year. That's just mummies on the black market that weirdo millionaires and billionaires are buying to put in their basement to show off their buddies while they sip their brandy in the evening. Like, look at this mummy over here. I bought him. He's mine. Like, people are into this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The Ark of the Covenant is at some Russian oligarch's house. That's where he is.
But it was Alexander, New York.
Yeah,
Not according to the remote viewer.
Yeah, he was like upstate New York. That's where it is.
Oh, maybe. I was trying to look up I can't remember his name, so I'm sorry to the person. But I interviewed just to show like there are cool geologists out there. I interviewed a guy at Cosmic Summit last year who was working at the site in Jordan where they believe the airburst happened, and he was fucking great. Like his mind was open to all of this stuff. He's part of the Comet Research Group. We had Mark Young on last week.
Great interview.
He's part of the so there are cool ones out there, but
Mark Young's like a nice guy. We're connected on Twitter, but I've never got a chance to really.
He's a very nice guy. He's really cool. Yeah, you should talk to him. You should talk to him. But go on, Jimmy. Go on.
I was going to say, shout out to the Cosmic Summit. They're putting on, this going to be the third year of doing conferences? They put on one of the biggest shows around. So George Howard should be very proud of that tremendous success with bringing on these awesome speakers. And so you guys will be there in North Carolina in June, correct?
Yep.
All of you.
We'll be there in June. And you guys are going to be in Sedona, Arizona very shortly, like a couple, 3 weeks.
April 19th and 20th.
Yeah, with Graham. Are there? Did it sell out finally?
Yeah.
It did.
They sold out 750 seats, and now they opened an overflow room for an additional 260 seats at a discounted price. And I think $199 for the overflow room. But anyone listening, hey, come to Sedona. I'll be there. Mike will be there. Graham Hancock, Randall Carlson, Dan Richards of
Dan
the Dunking.
Richards.
The
I love
Dunking
Dan
is really cool.
Richards.
Yep.
Freaking
And
love him.
so this is a chance for people to rub shoulders and network. I'm going to be hanging around the lobby and socializing. So if this is an opportunity for people to come and meet some of the speakers firsthand, and it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you're
I can't wait.
I love Dan's picture there, by the way.
Sexy D, man.
That's right.
Yeah. If you are going to the Vegas meetup, it's the weekend pretty much after, so it's not far away from Vegas. A little 4-hour drive. Yeah.
And Sedona's lovely in April. It's Easter weekend.
It really is.
And so some people might not be able to travel for that, but late April in Sedona is like beautiful. It's gonna be lovely weather.
Spring,
oh yeah.
It's all green.
Yeah.
The green's coming
Desert
back.
bloom.
The desert.
The desert
Yep.
bloom is epic. Absolutely epic.
And
Where
we'll
the
be
desert
talking
meets
about
the forest.
we'll be talking about a lot of this stuff, and we'll have shared some of this of like the smoking gun stuff by then, and we'll be sharing that on stage with Graham, Jimmy, and I, which will be a lot of fun.
Huge.
Really talking about all of this in much greater depth.
People need to understand, because some people are like, why haven't you shared this stuff yet? And I think people need to understand that Mike and I need to dot our I's and cross our T's. As this is, guys, if my stuff over Gobekli Tepe caused an uproar, this is like on a level above it. This is worse than anything I had discussed involving Gobekli Tepe. This is bad. It's going to cause a reaction, and because of it, we need to be a little bit careful in how we present it, because it's going to cause a lot of backlash. So we're just trying to do it with our brains, and it's only a couple weeks away before everyone sees it, so it'll be worth the wait.
It'll be worth the wait, as Randall says, orders of magnitude.
Yes.
Orders of magnitude.
Are you
got
sad
that on a
you
you've got
be able
that
to
on a
go back
button?
to Turkey, Jimmy?
That's good.
What's that?
I was saying, are you sad that you're probably not going to be able to go back to Turkey?
At this point, after I share this, I believe, so I wasn't sure if I was going to be banned or not, like I mentioned at the beginning of the
I know,
podcast.
before.
After this, I am not going back in the immediate future, because I assume that I will get either
arrested,
turned away or detained at customs. Like people need to understand that in Turkey, they don't have the same rights they do in the United States when it comes to the First Amendment. Like if you disparage their government, you can be arrested for that. So we'll see. Like I would like to think I'm not that important, but like the world's crazy. Like there's people, if you upset the right type of people in the world that have the right type of power, they can make it, by flicking a wrist or pressing one button, they can make your life a little bit difficult or really difficult. And so in my mind, I will not be going back anytime soon, which makes me sad because I really like Turkey, and Istanbul was awesome. I want to go back there. Wasn't there long enough, and so to anyone listening, Turkey's pretty awesome. It's a gorgeous country, and Istanbul was a blast, and but in my mind, I think I should wait.
Let it cool down.
Let's switch a little bit. You mentioned Derinkuyu and how amazing it was. I'm so fascinated by that city. And tell me about your adventures there, because that place is cool.
So Derinkuyu is an underground city in Cappadocia region of Turkey. In that region, there's an estimated 200 underground cities, of which a few are believed to have housed tens of thousands of people. Derinkuyu is believed to be the largest, where it's estimated to have housed 20,000 people plus livestock. It's 18 levels below the surface. It extends up to 280 feet down. Only 8 levels are available to the public at this time. They have it all sealed up, probably because it's dangerous, to be honest. I'm not going any conspiracy with it because people had explored it before, but it's dangerous. You can break your back in these places. You can fall down. There's holes in the ground. There's dozens of air vents that connect to the surface. It is sophisticated. In my mind, it was a doomsday bunker. Mike, share some of your thoughts on this, please.
What was it, an ark? Sorry, go on, Mike.
My biggest takeaway is that I'm getting too old to bend over like that for hours.
Well, wait, what's the ceiling at there? Because you really have no.
It can get pretty low.
Right there, not so bad. Right there, probably 7 or 8 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, there's chambers where you can stand up at full height. I'm 6'3", and I can stand up fully in certain chambers. But going through some of the pathways and stairwells is pretty tight. Yeah, I mean that that
Wow,
there.
look
I
at
don't know
that.
what this is, but
Oh gosh.
it gets pretty tight. And then there haven't been too many times where I've felt uncomfortable in scenarios, but once you get down low enough, underground, there is a sense of how deep you are underneath there, and it can be a little. Once you're down
Impressive.
there for a period of time, it can be a little kind of feel a little oppressive in terms of like how feel a little claustrophobic for sure.
Yeah.
And
believe it.
there's
Labyrinth.
earthquakes in Turkey. And
Yeah.
I'm sure
Right.
those are on your mind. It was just a
Yeah.
big one not too long ago.
But
Well-
the way that this is constructed is incredible, and that many people is constructed in a way to house as many people as it did. So you're walking through this area and just thinking to yourself, you know, what it must have been like to just be spending all your time down here with that many thousands of people potentially, including animals and stuff like that. It's just mind-boggling. Now
There
there's
it
a
is.
whole lot of area,
And it goes down to the
closed
water
off.
table,
Dang.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it does, and that's the part that's so bizarre. Is like
Yeah.
So let me say this: there's actually what's one of the things that's impressive about this place is that there's no evidence of any cave-ins, which illustrates an engineering understanding for whoever created it. And here's something that everyone needs to understand: is that we do not know who built this, how, or when. The archaeologists theorize that it was built somewhere around 2,900 years ago, and they believe that it was created for the people to escape from invaders. And I'm like, I don't buy that whatsoever, because usually it's fight or flight. Oh, hey, we might get invaded. Let me spend the next few years digging out an underground city.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, guys, you have to understand that without the lights, it's cave dark in there. And
Right.
you would have to, guys, I would not live in there unless I had no other choice. You'd have to put a gun to my head, because I rather die running away or fighting than live down there. It would be so depressing. No sunlight.
Yeah.
You're boxed in. Guys, I think this was a doomsday arc. If you want to know my honest
I agree.
opinion, I think that it was related to the cataclysm.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if this place is 12,000 years old. There's no way to date the stone itself. So they have no idea when it was done. But I'm like, and knowing that there's hundreds of these throughout Cappadocia, only a handful are within the neighborhood of supporting thousands of people. Let me just say that, some of which were much smaller. But I'm like, when I was in there, one of the things that's important to understand is that I think this site represents trauma. That whoever was living in here, whether it was to escape invaders or escape a cataclysm, this represents that these people had no other choice, that they had to go live underground in a cold, dark environment. I think there was trauma in there, and I just can't imagine what these people's lives were like to have gone in. They had no other choice.
And they had to put thought into it. And again, they would need surplus. They would need resources. And all the rock that was dug out, nobody knows where
Where'd
it is.
that go?
It's all gone. It's all
Total
gone.
mystery.
Yeah.
I think it was because it was a long time ago.
Long
time ago.
Long time ago.
It's one of the coolest places I've ever been.
Barry Göbeklitepe.
I really want to go.
Yeah.
Bucket list.
Mike,
Bucket
Mike,
list.
say
Yeah.
it again. You got cut off. Say it again, Mike.
They used all the excavated material out of Derinkuyu to bury Göbekli Tepe.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Mm.
Before we get to soups, 'cause
We
we're
solved
limited on
it.
time. I could talk to you guys forever. But
Agreed.
I want to know, we'll start with Michael. I've already asked you personally, but I'm gonna put you on the spot. What is your working, I won't say theory, hypothesis on the possibility of an ancient civilization?
Oh yeah, I'm firmly in that camp.
Okay. So what do you think it was?
I think that there was an ancient civilization. Is that what you're asking? What
type?
What type? I think
Yeah.
that there was if there wasn't one ancient civilization, world-spanning ancient civilization, they were all in communication or contact with each other. And I think it's very possible that it was way more advanced than we think. Now, I'm without getting into stuff like ancient technologies and like machines and different stuff like that or whatever, I don't think our history is this continually evolving scale. I think that there's been moments of peaks and dips and peaks and dips and stuff, and potentially. But I think it's clear. I've seen enough around the world of examples of every type, whether it's symbology, construction, or architecture, all these different examples that are worldwide between cultures. And I think most of the dates attributed to a lot of the things that we think of or have attributed dates to go much further back than we're being told. And I also think it would appear, based on those same observations that I've been making for years around the world, that most of these sites were inherited by the cultures that we're attributing them to now. And so, yeah, I'm fully in the world spanning ancient civilization theory. I've just seen too much with my own eyes and too many similarities to be dissuaded of that at this point.
Speaking of similarities, you know what I was the most excited to see in Peru? That fucking Keystone cut. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I was so fucking excited when I saw that.
Yeah.
Ollantaytambo?
Yeah, at
Ollantaytambo. I remember that.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, there's a
Good
Keystone.
eye.
Yes.
So I've seen that cut all over the world as well. That it's been used everywhere. And I've been to that site, Ollantaytambo, several times, many times, and I'd never seen that. So when you pointed that out, that was exciting for everyone.
Can someone bring up a photo? Because I've been on Ollantaytambo, but I'm trying to remember what you're referring to.
So the Keystone cuts are on, look it up, Garrett, please.
Yeah.
So on all the megalithic blocks, you'll see like it looks like a key carved in. And what they used it for theoretically was they poured metal. By the way, they had no metallurgy, and that somehow
I know you're talking about
together and
clasp, like a
clasp. Yeah.
Yep.
So they're in Egypt, they're in Greece, they're fucking everywhere. Yeah.
Yep.
There's like
exactly
there's variations, but yeah, there you go. That's where they've all been found.
All over the world.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's one of the many similar there's symbology that we found up at Ollantaytambo that's similar to stuff in India. You know, it's that little diamond shaped thing that we saw too. That was carved in that the Temple of the Sun. That's the perfect Keystone cut.
This is at Ollantaytambo here, and this is Corey Concha. Yeah,
I got that term from David Hatcher Childress. That's what he calls them. But
there's a good
Egypt.
One.
Yep. There it is. Everywhere,
all over the place.
Yeah, and
it's a carpentry thing as well.
And it's one of the many, many, many similarities that you see around the world. So, Jimmy, same question goes to you. Not putting you on the spot. It's a working hypothesis. Just emphasis on that.
So, if I had a thesis, it would be that the true history of ancient human civilizations was far older and far more advanced than we were taught in school. The real debate is how old and how advanced. But where I'm at now, because like the way I try to explain these things in my videos, my tweets, I'm trying to open people's mind to show that like clearly what we were taught does not explain the achievements of ancient history. Like we have no idea how the Egyptians moved the 1,000 metric ton Ramesseum statue 170 miles, which that stone is 3 times heavier than the largest stone we've moved in modern times, the stone that they moved to the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. And when you look at the undertaking that took, it's insane. So I'm at the point, if you want to know my honest thoughts, I do believe that we were far more advanced than most people even will entertain. We may have even been more advanced than we are today in some ways. Like I can't prove that, but I'm like I wouldn't be surprised if you want me to get totally wacko on you. All this UFO phenomena that we're seeing, I would not be surprised if whatever these crafts aren't coming from somewhere else, that they've been here the whole time. Maybe they were the Atlanteans. Now that sounds batshit to some crazy. I'm not making videos preaching that.
Nah.
But if you want to know my honest opinion, I think that is actually possible. When I look at Bob Lazar claiming, and he did tell some truth, like he is in their books. He knew stuff about that Wednesday when he went out there and showed his friends at UFO. He knows something. And the fact that they told him that one of these crafts were found in an archaeological site, it's entirely possible they've been here the whole time. They could be under, when they say that these crafts are coming from under the ocean, well, my goodness, like the Mid-Atlantic Ridge is one of the most complicated mountain chains on Earth. There could be God knows how many caves and places to hide out in there. They may have been here this whole time. But again, as far as the lost technology, I do believe that they possessed certain capabilities, because when I look at the various stonework, not just how they were cut and carved as well as moved, when I look at the cross-continental connections that date back thousands of years before transoceanic sea travel was said to be possible, I firmly believe, just like Mike had said, there was some sort of connection, some sort of communication, and it happened long before Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
Yep. I agree.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep.
I wait to see more of this stuff. So we have to get to the audience now. We're at that portion. Thanks, everybody, for being patient and be prepared for questions. They'll talk some shit because God bless them. I do the same. So,
Hey, if it's your first time watching this show, we do this show every Sunday over on Nerdrotic Live. So come check us out.
come check us out. Roughly at this time, you know how we deal with time here. Gollum's half botched circumcision leftover for 25,000 Martian pesos. Pyramids have a huge basement. So what? LOL. Have any of you considered that those readings to be an increase of density because of the weight of the pyramids? I don't know how they would read those. Maybe, but the pyramids are, at least the Great Pyramid is built on something. It's built on there's a natural foundation that it's built on that can handle that weight. Although those things are heavy. I'm guessing they're heavy, but maybe. Have you considered your botched circumcision leftover? B Buster for $2. Snow White or Egypt? I'm getting shit. Okay, Garrett, because I was supposed to.
Was it worth it, Gary?
It's your fault for revealing it.
Okay.
No regrets. If you don't know,
Man.
Jimmy, I was Ben said, "Hey, come to Egypt." The Snake Bros said, "Come to Egypt with us," and I'm going to give you the gayest excuse you've ever heard. I can't go because of Snow White. True story.
Amazing. Amazing.
That happened.
I will be going later.
He chose Snow White. He
No
chose Snow
regrets.
White.
It turns out, like, due to family circumstances, I wouldn't have been able to go anyway. But I just stayed. No regrets. I told Michael, I'm like, bro, Peru's gonna be rough because of the Rings of Power.
You did say that.
I did.
Close.
Say that.
Really close,
Oh my
man.
God.
They had the 3-episode premiere, and I'm like, we're good to go. Yeah. So, JJ says Narf. He's been a member for 8 months. Thank you. Mark Shaw has been a member for 18 months. Welcome, nerds. Welcome. You're in the right place for sure. Melodic Method has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships. Thank you very much. NDI for $2 says just caught up on Mobland in 1923. Amazing. I'm going to see Mobland right after this. Can't wait. Looks fucking good. Tom Hardy, Pierce Bronson. Looks good.
Oh,
I
started watching Taboo because you mentioned that. It's awesome.
Dude, it's such a good
Only one
show.
season.
The Peaky Blinders guy
Yeah.
made that.
So good.
Wait, is this
it was
the
supposed
London gangster thing show?
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
Peaky Blinders guy that got killed.
Yes.
Yeah, Taboo, really good.
Taboo is like a supernatural, semi-supernatural historical version of that, and it was supposed to get a second season until this fucking stupid Venom movies came out and ruined it.
Good.
It's so good.
sad about
Taboo.
it.
Yeah. I wish Jimmy and the panel had more time to disagree on Pierce than they agreed, but it was great interaction either way. This jerk off juggernaut for $20.
You could tell Pierce was like trying to poke and prod you guys. to fight more.
I don't feel like, but he did it on the wrong topics. I'm like, hey, we agree about the Giza, like there's so many things we don't agree on, and I was really hoping it would go that direction, but
yeah.
Hey, there's
Round
Jeff.
2, you come back.
I'm
Hey, I feel you. Hey, come on, talk about Star Wars, and then we talk about Africa for half the time. All right, I'll do my best. He'll have you back though. It's fun, and like, listen, Piers is Piers. He's there to put on a show, and he knows what the fuck he's doing.
He does. I love him. I love him. I disagree with him half the time, but I love him. Like he's perfected that. Like he's got a good system going. So
behind the scenes, super nice guy, by the way. And Paul is producer. Hail Paul. You know what is funny is Paul, like he had already made his decision, but I guess a day before he'd hit me up. He's like, "You do that for Ben Frontier. Got any names to recommend?" So I threw out your name. I threw out everybody's name. Name. But he had already decided on you, so it wasn't for me. He had already decided on you. He's all, "Oh no, we already got Jimmy." So I'm like, "Oh, here's a plethora of guys you can get on that know what the fuck they're talking about."
By the way, I did not know. I only know Dan Richards was going to be on it. I did not know that Flint and Milo were going to be on it until literally the morning of.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Oh, he doesn't tell you.
I was so thrilled. I'm like,
Oh,
nice.
man.
But hey, let me just say one thing about it is like, it was really nice to see that all four of us had an amicable conversation. Like a lot of the comments I noticed were very positive.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it could have gone in the arguing direction. The part that bummed me out is that afterwards Milo and Flint went and did a tirade 90 minutes later and got angry. I'm like, hey, we just started off. We had a nice reset point here. We all got along. Why don't we keep that going? So they didn't want. They didn't see it that way.
Of course not. Of course not. Thank you, Jerkoff Juggernaut. B Chain 315 for $5 says, take that down. Or was it me?
I didn't touch it.
It was in me.
That's what she said. Gary, all about the ethnically clean coffee. Must be the German side. Yep. Well, honestly, I'm 2/3 the Axis powers, so it could be the German or a fascist Italian. Not really
Very
sure.
pure.
It's not even black coffee.
I want
it's
the
only
purest
white.
coffee.
It's a pure coffee. It makes you younger.
Stephen Corazon, I hope I got that right. Ever wonder where Jews came from? How they just show up in Egypt as slaves? Look up the cult of Autumn, whose god is cross-mixed with a shepherd hook. I'll have to look that up. I never heard that in my life.
Tonight around 11:30 p.m. Scroll in bed and just look it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. That's usually, you know what? That's usually when I'm listening to the Y-Files. The Y-Files. We love the Y-Files here. Flatline for £5 They have drilled into the void. Nick Cavern has seen pictures. They released stuff slowly to support tourism, he's been told. Okay.
And he means actually Luke
This
in
is
the
in Egypt?
next
Luke? Yeah, okay.
super chat.
Luke Caverns.
What-
I mean
which-
Luke Caverns. That's what I thought.
Which spot did they drill into? The
Yeah.
Great Pyramid?
It was the
Okay.
pyramids, yeah. He did a video on it.
Cool. I gotta check that out.
Maybe it's just my anti-authoritarian side, but for a sec. Watch Metatron's vid this morning. Great stuff. We love
As soon
Metatron,
as
by the
show
way.
ends, I'm gonna watch that.
Solid. We got to get him back on FNT.
We should have him on this show.
We should have him on
I
this show.
agree.
We should
We
have invited
should.
him on today. Hail
Great
Metatron,
dude.
by the way.
Great dude.
Paisano. John Kennedy hey, you're back. For $5. It's the lizard people's fault. Well,
Lizard.
we all know that. Okay, that's
Corpsetti.
It goes without saying.
goes without
Yeah.
saying.
Obvious.
The Raven and the Writing Desk, been a member for 27 months. I'll be at GT this July. Awesome. Who's coming with me? I don't know.
I wonder if he
might-
means Gobekli Tepe. GT?
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Maybe.
guess so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'll be at Comic-Con, maybe Garrett.
I'll
We
be
might be
banned.
We'll see him. Yeah.
You'll be banned. You ain't going anywhere. Well, you're not going there. You can go everywhere else, but you're not going there. The Singing Tigs for $2. Tim Alberino and Michael Knowles, very interesting. There you go.
Like an
we
interview.
already-
Like an interview?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Sounds like
Maybe.
it.
I don't know. Explain yourself, Singing Tigs. You could just say it in the chat. Afraid to invest in evac just to lose the site if empty. Yeah, I'm surprised I was able to read that. I'm gonna give myself credit. Maybe. Neil Horn for $5. Hail the panel, Michael and Jimmy. Have you guys considered a trip to John Reeves' Boneyard in Alaska? Oh fuck, that would be awesome.
connected-
Yeah.
That would be
connected
so
with him.
badass.
I
You did?
connected with him. It's happening. He told me,
Oh shit!
he
Yes.
told me to hit him up in April so he can evaluate the snow melt. And Mike, if you're interested, or something, I mean, I might not have the power to invite
Is
whoever, but
Mike
like,
interested?
you know,
He's like,
yeah,
hell yeah.
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 He's been there.
The
wanna see
answer,
some
do I
bones?
want to go anywhere? Is
Drone-
always yes.
Drone shots there would be phenomenal. But yeah, so
Yeah.
we're talking and it's happening. So it sounds like May or June or July, but I'll know soon enough. But it's this summer for sure.
That's
I
awesome.
can't wait. It's gonna be
That is-
wild.
Yeah, I want to see
Clutch.
that.
That is such a
Yeah.
great follow on Instagram or Twitter. And they're putting up stuff almost every day that'll blow your fucking mind from this little 2-acre area. It just,
That's amazing.
I mean, if one thing just says there's a cataclysm of some kind somewhere, it's that place.
Yeah.
It's just bones crushed up in muck. That like,
A warehouse full of it, of bones, box after box. It's insane.
I want a mammoth tusk. I do.
Great question, Neil. I'm glad you asked.
Me too.
Yeah, well done, Neil. They're good like that. Siphon has been a member for 21 months. They don't want to expose our collective history. No, they don't. Richard Throbbin for $5.
Oh my gosh.
How much would it change? How much would it change of our understanding of history if these underground structures are real? Stay horny, everyone. Well, as Mark Young said, we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's something under there. We just want to know kind of what it is and do it right. You know, reformed convict. I can relate to that for $2. Says Noah was a conspiracy theorist. Then it rained.
Oh,
Then it rained.
I'm gonna make this a shirt. I need to get on it. I'm filing license on it tonight. You know, I'm gonna. This is mine.
I got it at the printers already.
They're
going.
Good.
That is Brent. Nick Hudson for $2. Only one solution. Musk buys Doge's group.
Yes. And hires me as the head of fieldwork.
Yes.
Gobekli Tepe.
Replaces the U with an E.
Arcanum 24 for 35 Zardozes says biggest problem with the Khafre pyramid research is that it breaks a cardinal rule of science, fallibility. How do you disprove black box research?
Right, because it wasn't approved, right? But it's just satellite data that they created software to analyze, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like it's still fresh and new.
Yeah. It's legit though. I mean, it's legit data from satellites. But I mean, oh, here we go. Lauren Lynn Lance for $5 says, I've had a crush on Jimmy for a few years now. You're not the only one. That's
Ever
it.
been to Sedona, Laura?
Oh, you can rub shoulders maybe with
There you
them.
go. I just wanted to let him know. Hi, y'all. Have a good evening. XOXO. It's OXOX.
Much love, Laura. Much love. You got competition. I do have a girlfriend, but you know, you guys can sort that out.
Always looking to trade up. So just kidding, Jimmy's
Wah, wah.
girlfriend. Just
Where's
kidding.
the ba-dum-ching?
Yeah.
Right there. Always ready.
Good timing.
Basil 578 for $20 says, I can't fault any of these countries for looking at these sites as economic opportunities. While tourism can be cheap in a site, it can also provide funding for more digs and show that these sites are worthy of being protected, which is great in theory if they did more digging.
They could do that, but they don't have to
That's
build
where the money goes.
giant pylons directly into a site.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a happy medium, right? There has to be one. Silent Bob Ross for $5. Speaking of being split in half, Jimmy, Adam has a great story that Gary loves to hear. No, not with guest here.
Excuse me.
I can do it real quick. I was a
Gary, you
professional
weren't here for
skateboarder.
that, I think.
Oh, I heard.
Credit
I
carded
heard.
myself, and I met my nuts face to face.
I saw them
I
unsheathed.
split my nutsack open.
But did it happen in a
Skateboarding.
Turkish prison?
No.
That's where you,
No.
you really don't want it to
No,
happen.
no, I did it to myself, which is anyway.
It's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it's the only way to know.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Don't ever
Picture
do
proof.
it.
You got
It's
like
sick.
a video clip of this we can get? Easy million views.
No.
Put it right on
Yeah,
the
dude.
Sadly, no. I have the medical report. Lacerated scrotum is the medical term that
Oh,
they
that
Do you have an
is-
X-ray?
Weird, inferior. No, you can't do
No.
an X-ray of the
You get it.
scrotum. That's a
There's no X, there's no
ultrasound.
bone.
Okay, ultrasound those nuts.
They
I
didn't
wanna
need
see
to.
the-
You could see them.
Yeah,
They were
it's
there.
a fucking Polaroid. You'd see it.
Scar for proof.
It was
Show the
there.
scar for proof.
Yeah, and clearly they.
All right, let's do it. We're on the
Right
main
now.
channel.
Do it live stream.
Oh my God, no.
It's just
Tumors.
pixelated screen.
You want to see my two tumors?
You have
No.
tumors?
Well,
As the
Oh, wow.
You brought it up.
Ooh.
You caught her. You got her.
someone leave a super chat and explain.
The singing takes for $2. Dibble admitted fuddy duddy. I call him, and you can read the rest. There you go. Steel.
What the fuck?
For $5. Jimmy, your insights are why I believe the pyramids are not what they have said they are. And also, I truly believe is it the Richat or Ricot?
Rashad. You can pronounce it. It's tomato. It depends who's, over there with their accents, they say it differently. It just depends. So it's Rashad. I don't think Ricot is the way to say it, but some people do. But it to me, it's,
Eye of the Sahara.
Eye of the
Sahara is Atlantis. That thing is fucking crazy.
It's
and
so
every
cool.
time I'm like, nah. And then I look back and I watch a couple of your videos. I'm all,
it's a wild one.
yeah.
That thing they need to go studying that a little bit more. That one, it's just too many similarities. All things are possible. It's possible. It's not. I think it's by far the most likely site, but they need to explore the Azores. They need to explore off the shelf of Africa, off the western coast of the Rishot. They need to look into all these places. If it was
100%. Steel Scout for $5 more says, Jimmy, whether you see my chats or not, keep going, keep challenging them. Pyramids are energy plants, and the Eye of the Sahara was Atlantis, I believe. I do too, brother. I do too. Welcome.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Nope. Hell no. Well, I mean, like, that's what I really enjoy about. He's a good follow on Twitter, by the way. He mixes it up. When you were on your the war path about like showing rocks being dumped in like Toyota trucks and them just fucking crushing, that was great. That was fucking great.
It's a way. People made fun of me, but that's a way to illustrate the weight, like just to understand. Like they're saying they were rolling these things on the ground. I'm like, look what it does to trucks. Like, so anyway.
And they're like showing that one guy in the UK that did do some things, but the stones that he was moving were like tiny comparatively.
Yeah. Yep.
And the stones that you showed that were crushing the trucks were minuscule in comparison to what they moved in Egypt.
2 to 4 tons at the most. Nothing compared to tens of tons. Like the 78-ton blocks that were moved 500 miles, the granite ones from Aswan that are 350 feet above the ground in the Great Pyramid. There's hundreds of those. 70 to 80 tons a pop, hundreds of them. So
they just floated them up the Nile, dude. Come on.
Easy. And then up the side of the pyramid also.
Yeah. Come on. They had lots of time. They didn't have Wi-Fi, Gary. Come on. They didn't have Netflix. They had time.
They had time to do it.
They weren't worried about water purification and hunting. They had time.
Yeah.
Dude, point to Tombo. Michael, we were there and we're like, the quarry is on that hill across the valley. And we're like, no fucking way.
No way.
Yep.
Across
a river.
And that's close.
Yes, across the river. Yes.
Yeah. The hobby guy for $20. People just live to shut other people down, no matter what. It's an artifact of human nature. Exasperation by the internet age. Great work, Jimmy. I agree.
Well, thank you. And I'll just say this. I'm quoting Dana White where he said that, the more successful or whatever you do, it always comes with negativity. And he said he's one of these sickos that feeds off of it. I'm the same way. The more people that come after me, it only emboldens me. I get kind of like, I kind of get focused when I feel like I'm being attacked in a fight. And so it just, the more people come after me, I just assume I'm over the target and I just keep going. So it only emboldens me.
Good.
Fuck him.
I love your battle with Marcel. That guy. I
had to block him.
His ass.
That guy, dude.
You blocked him. Yeah, good for you.
Let me just say about him. I am open-minded to geopolymers. I
too.
think that at in Bolivia at what's the site in Bolivia, Mike? Forgive me.
Pumapunku.
Pumapunku, I think it could be.
Yep.
But he keeps tagging me, and he started with insults. And as soon as he went to the insult,
he's a fucking asshole. I'm like,
he's
dude,
an asshole about everything.
If you think that Jimmy is disproving you, disprove him back. Don't be a fucking prick.
And
holy shit.
There's a lot of times I went easy on him, and I said,
I
"Hey,
know.
man, please, just don't insult me." And he just still does it. So I'm like. A lot of people know I get in fights, but I don't start the fights. I never start an internet fight ever. I've never done it once. But when people get to insults, I'm like, when someone pushes me, I punch. I'm like, I just
counterpunch.
That's the way I'm wired. I need to chill out on it.
Dude, you shut his ass down.
Well, I mean,
I had to stop.
He's aggressive in everybody.
He's just a prick. I'm like, you're an asshole.
He had a good theory, but he's so fucking in love with it that he has to piss on everybody else. It's like, maybe it's both.
Yeah. He switched that stone. Everything that stone.
Yeah.
I know he did. He definitely did.
There's no converse. You're not able to have a conversation.
Yeah, there's not one.
Just
I told him a while ago. I said, "Hey man, develop this, and I will put it out on blast. Just show some proof, and I will promote it." And he
it's
still
a
went
cool
to Italy. He
theory.
said, not my fault that you're illiterate, Jimmy, is what he said. I'm like,
God,
that's
all right,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's like, tell me, read the book. I'm like,
Rude.
just show it. Just show it right here. Like, I'll help you. Anyway.
You got to buy the product to see what it's about.
Yeah, behind the paywall, the secrets.
Yeah.
Internet ain't for everybody. Obviously, Jimmy keeps searching for the truth, says Steel Scout for $2.
You bet. I got
Oh
you.
yeah. Melodic Method for $10. Is there a website that lists all the different conferences that you go on all year? That's a good question.
I'm only at the Sedona one this year, but I know they have George Howard with the Cosmic Summit in June. I know you guys are going to both, right? Are you going to be at the Cosmic Summit, Gary? You are, right?
Yes.
Will the whole crew be there? But Adam, are you able to make it or?
Not sure yet.
Okay.
That's
Right on.
remains to be seen.
Working on it.
The rest of us will be there for sure. Wait. We got Gollum's half botched circumcision again for 10,000. Martian Peso says, oh boy. Cecil say have a punch of mini mummies in his house. Thank you.
No, I think Cecil has I think that's what he tagged me in chat and said something like that. Cecil has a bunch of punch mummies. I don't know what that means, but
I
guess
What's
it
a
was
punch?
right when we were discussing about the black market and mummies being
Okay.
sold. So I think he might have like some pieces of mummies or something. I don't know.
Cecil?
A bunch of mini mummies in his house. Maybe.
Is that, are you in chat?
Mm.
I don't know. Is that what you meant? I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. Angelo Escaton.
Eschaton.
10. Oh, it's Angel of Eschaton. Jesus,
There
I'm
you
retarded. For 10 Australian dollars. I remember watching Time Team on TV. It was a fun show that showed archaeologists at work, and it had Baldrick in it. They should do shows like that again. You know, that's everybody. The problem is a lot of these academic archaeologists, I mean, apparently they're supposed to have some charisma in school, but they don't have enough to make videos, and they should. There's a lecturer, I keep forgetting his name, at some university in Washington, and he's a geologist, and he just talks about like fucking volcanoes from a million years ago, and he is so entertaining. He is so fucking good. They need to do shit like that. And if you watch Randall's videos, some of his stuff, I can't remember his name, sorry, will pop up, and it's like Southeastern Washington University. Watch that shit. It's fucking good. And he's just a basic scientist, and he's really excited about talking about magma. And I love the enthusiasm, but he's funny. Basil 578 for $20. Guys, there are several disconnects. Archaeologists versus the public versus the country's governments where these sites are located. A lot of these countries are not rich, and those in power aren't related to the site builders. No, they're not related to the site builders in a lot of these cases. And that might be part of the problem.
Yeah, that's a problem.
You know,
And those in
there's a lot of
power might not
bureaucracy.
actually be in connected with the governments themselves. Like the government, like once it passes on to the corporation, that corporation doesn't necessarily have any ties or allegiances to the government of said country. You know.
Yeah.
if you think about it, like think about the problems it creates pre-Clovis, you know, because and this is just a theory, it could be fucking wrong, but there's been a doctrine out there about Clovis which has fallen apart, right? But we also have Native Americans, and they have rights to a lot of these sites that aren't their people, that straight up are not their people, and they could be older. And why shouldn't we be able to dig them up then? Because we're not digging up a Native American ancestor. We're digging up somebody not related to them at all, and it could actually answer a lot of questions that might be uncomfortable for certain universities and certain institutions. And I think that's why they love to block that shit now. We really don't know poo, which is true. And that rhymed. Dylan de Caesar for 1999. The Etruscan and Irish word for God is Asar. Did I say that right? Asar. The Basque word for father is Aida, found in Etruscan tombs, way older than the earliest Basque inscriptions. Etruscans are credited with inventing polygonal masonry. Salute. Is that true? I don't know. Is that true? No, that's interesting. We'll look that up tonight at 11:30. Steel Scout for $5. My mind cannot comprehend how old the planet and universe is. Kind of hurts, actually. It does.
It's awesome to think about. I think
It is
about it
kinda
often.
I do too. Eric K, the wrench for $5. I blame comics people for wiping the giants out that built many things. Everyone knows the little people hate the giants. They do. That little
Those
midget
biggers.
bastard. Yeah. Jesus
That
Christ.
video is so good.
What? WG's a legend, and you've probably met him at a conference. I can't say who he is, but he's a legend.
He's mysterious.
He's a mysterious man. My theory: they built these pyramids on rock and roll. Shut up, WG. After I build you up like this, you son of a bitch. Fish Shooter 24 has been a member for 17 months. Thank you. Oops. The Dead Man for $5. I bet the people who built these sites said themselves, "We built this city. We built this city."
You did it again.
I hate that fucking
walked into that
song.
one.
Too easy.
Lost Braves fan. Hey, Braves fan. We swept you. We fucking swept you. Hate a fight last night about had a fight about dragons being real. I'm a dragon believer, personally,
It's a
just
fun
like Joe Rogan.
conversation.
Yep.
Yes. I'm a dragon believer. The Singing Tigs for $5. Tim Alberino talked with Knowles for 2 hours about Nephilim. Oh, that's cool. I'll watch that.
Netflix
And
shit.
ancient civilizations and the connection with the Bible. Think you guys would like it. I will like it. I love the
Hail to you.
Nephilim story. That's my favorite thing that we haven't proven is giants. I want giants to be real. Men of renown. Tanaroo for $4.99. Thank you all for the hard work, Jimmy. It is absolutely diabolical that our history is being kept from us. Keep it up.
You bet.
Steel Scout for $5. So happy you guys saw my chat. Rock on. Keep going. Cheers, man. All good. Wyatt Gilliams for $5. The CIA investigated the Eye of the Sahara. Oh, I'm going to believe everything they fucking say. And they released their findings, which is amazing. And what they found was redacted. It was amazing black lines over pieces of paper, kind of like everything they do. Disband the CIA. John Kennedy for $2. Get the blurry creature guys on here. Okay. Yes. You ask, you shall receive. Thank you guys, and God bless, says Steel Scout again for $2. Quark for 25 Ron says, check out the Russians moved a 15,000 ton boulder in the 18th century for 6 kilometers. What the fuck's a kilometer? Only with human labor. They needed for the Bronze Horsemen. Yes, that's a famous story that Jimmy has brought up.
But it's worth mentioning that they used advanced metallic iron in order to do it. So, for example, a lot of people say that for them to move the stones at Baalbek, then if the Romans could do it, kind of a thing. And however, they needed advanced iron rails to do it, and they also used the screw jack, which hadn't been invented yet. So, essentially, that comparison, although as impressive as it is, the advancements in the 1700s compared to thousands of years ago is not very comparable, but it's worthy of mention. But it's important to understand that, this was when Baalbek was created was thousands of years before the invention of the screw jack, and they didn't have that level of advanced metal. But I always point that out because people use that to debunk the Baalbek thing, and I'm like, oh, there's more to the story than that.
Yes, there is. Sorry, I was just going on. How we doing, X-Ray Girl? We doing okay?
Yeah. There's a few left on here, and then some Streamlabs and rants.
I saw that.
I think that just thinking about that too, it almost disproves their thought process that these people could do what they could do with copper tools. That's what we're told. It's like, right. No, they're using advanced technology. So you're saying that they had advanced technology back then to move these stones? So you're with that theory.
It proves that they had capabilities that they're not supposed to have, even if it was something as simple as a screw jack. But the advanced iron is something because, with the Romans were an Iron Age, but what had developed in the Industrial Age and in the late 1700s, going to 1800s, the metal is vastly superior, and a lot of people just don't know that. So it's worth mentioning. So.
From WG, 15 million tourists a year visit the pyramids and generates 15 billion in revenue for Egypt. That and Islamic jurisprudence, aka Al-Azhar University of Cairo, is likely preventing further digging under the pyramids. And WG would know. Won't say how, but he would know. He would definitely know. F1 Elitist for $6.99. We are a species with, and I'll say it like Graham, amnesia. Amnesia. There you go. Hail Graham Hancock. Fucking love that guy.
Yeah.
Theoden, King of Brohan, for member for 31 months. Thank you. Lizard people just stealing mole people's credit every time. Every fucking time. I send you an email. Get the book Black Athena. Guys, it's expensive but worth it. I'll buy it if it's good. If it's good. Evening, all. Evening to you, Bill Galactica. I like that name. Cecil showed them the Papa Gundam stream. Oh, that's Cecil. Oh, we love Cecil.
Cool.
Cecil's fucking awesome. Illegitimate Scholar for $5. Are you guys aware you have an Irish terrorist live on the panel? Which one?
What's up, dude?
So
Michael
but
Collins.
I was named after Michael Collins, the Irish.
Yes,
Revolutionary.
yes.
Sam Arnold, by the way, is illegitimate scholar.
my-
He's a cool guy. He'll be in Sedona. He'll be in
Yeah.
Sedona.
Hell
he's
yeah.
cool.
He's been a fierce
Great
defendant of
follow
Graham
next.
Hancock. Graham Hancock shouted him out. He helped defend him against Flint and the white supremacy accusations and everything else, and the lies in the debate.
Well, that's
him
where,
and Dan
like,
went nuts defending. It was awesome.
Yeah.
They were great.
yeah, if you ever were on the fence about Graham, once they started calling him a white supremacist, you're all, oh, he's fucking onto something. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's over the target.
Over the target.
Yeah. Yeah. They also should have accused him of not liking The Last Jedi. That would have been the only thing. We are the aliens, brah. Maybe. No, I think we're the aliens. If
I'm
we
with
want to
you.
go to like Panspermia, or I just think we're straight up from Mars. But that's me. Told you I get in some wild shit. Wow.
You got to bring
possible.
Mike Barra back.
Yeah, Mike Bear will come back. As a matter of fact, I'm going to talk to him when I'm in Vegas. I'm going out
Cool.
early. So I'm gonna
Ask him to come back.
chick chat with
Tell him
Bear.
I'll bring an olive branch.
Oh, he's dude. He is used to it, man. He's on Ancient Alien, or was on Ancient Aliens. Like, he's used to it. He is used to it. Hey Gary, caution please. Recently we have heard that they have made discoveries in Antarctica. I heard a rumor at work about a sentient aquatic life now in Egypt. These reports have been sounding extremely like H.P. Lovecraft. I don't want any of that to be real. At the Mountains of Madness, the shadow over Innsmouth and under the pyramids, almost troll-like. Just heads up. Yeah, like, let's hope that never comes true.
Yeah.
Ever. If Randall keeps picking at the scab lands, will it heal? Oh, God. Squig 1618 for $5. Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed city found. Yes, they believe they have found that. Yes.
Yeah.
And that is something they're going to be talking about at Cosmic Summit, and we're going to get more information on that. But I think, they
Jericho, Sodom,
Jericho's
Gomorrah,
already like that's there. That and Troy,
they found it,
which is not unrelated, but biblical sites they are fine. Yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah, they think they found them, and that's fucking crazy. But it's not. Sulfur balls. Your thoughts on the panel? What do you guys think? Have you heard much about this? Anybody?
Which panel?
Or thoughts from the panel, by the way. Thoughts
on Sodom and Gomorrah.
Sodom and
discovery.
Gomorrah.
Oh.
Sorry.
Never heard of. I haven't heard. This.
Yeah, I have to look into it.
You have not heard this?
No.
Find videos on YouTube. So they think they found the site, and this is years ago, but it's kind of gone back and forth, but it's in the right location. And it kind of goes along with that site in Jordan. I mean, they're separate sites, but it looks like airburst. It might have been an airburst that wiped it out. Maybe there was multiple airbursts. That one in Jordan, correct me if I'm wrong, WG, is only 5,000 years old. So it's not Younger Dryas. It is, but they use it for the Comet Research Group to match the proxies of like, oh, this could have happened. So that maybe that's why we don't have a crater. because an airburst can do a lot of fucking damage, like a lot. Zorbu for $20. Earthlings, I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. Got to make you understand. Never gonna beam you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around or abduct you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie or probe you. Well, that's a fucking lie right
lies.
there.
These are lies.
That was just a lie.
Zorbu is our alien
Garrett
super
would know.
chatter, by the way. He would
No,
know.
we all know.
No, you know.
Oh, no, we all know. It's not just me.
None of
Imperial
us have the punch card.
Imperial Yankee Cowboys. It is I, mighty Almas. How do you how you say in US of A, Russian Bigfoot? Da, I write to say I strong like bull and sharp like river rock. Also in Putin's Russia, you not take blurry picture of Almas. Almas take blurry picture of you. All right, you're drinking, Bigfoot.
Damn.
Jose Taco for $1 says, don't know much about LiDAR technology. Can that be, could it be a good use at Gobekli Tepe for some type of scanner to look under? I'm sure they have. They
Have done that, yeah.
Yep.
And that's how they know there's more.
Yep.
That's how they know is more. Hey, is that bright insight? What's up, Gobekli guy? Yes, it's Jimmy.
It's his lookalike. You know, he's very busy. He's in Turkey right now, making people think he's not in Turkey. So,
word warning on this one. Okay, thank you, X-Ray Girl. And this is the last one, and it's from Graham Hancock, who's watching on the Streamline slide. Islam is the problem. Anything spectacular that you found? I don't think it's really Graham. Which defy logic and reason will be quelled instantly because it does not fit their story. Well, I mean, not everybody, but Afghanistan, they were blowing the shit out of Buddhas and stuff. That was happening. And then Jimmy witnessed a lot of stuff, whether in Iraq that he's done videos on that you can go watch, where he talks about where they destroyed a lot of stuff that was just, it kills me to watch that, dude.
yeah, the Assyrian wing bulls known as Lamassu. I happened to be on site there in Mosul in 2010, and the same exact site that ISIS went in there in 2015 and literally jackhammered and then bulldozed the site. It was, I just was at the right place at the right time, but yeah, those things were magnificent. Now there's only a few of those wing bulls around the world. They're in museums. Like there's some at the Louvre, there's some at the Met in New York, and some in the Baghdad Museum, but that's like it.
That is tragic.
Yeah, there's one at the British Museum too.
I need to go there.
We saw it. We were together, Adam. Not
that place is
Adam. But I saw it at the Louvre too. The Louvre is fucking crazy cool.
Yeah,
that place is amazing.
Yeah.
I was there all fucking day and saw like a third of it, maybe a quarter of it. And I was moving.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Mr. Blue Sky for $19.99. Hail Gary and panel, first time super chatter on Forbidden Frontier. There you go. Been a minute for being able to tune in into the weekend shows live, but just wanted to say hello and watch out for the lizard people. I can't do a heckle.
I can't. It's hard to do hecklefish.
Eric K says Gary, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Well, considering what Venus is like, it's a sideways planet that's too hot. It explains a lot. Steel Scout for $2. We are the aliens, brah. Maybe. I already read that one. Dead Dingo Dan for $2 Australian. I turned 40 today. That is all. Happy birthday. Rick Rolled. Love you guys. Keep up the fighting from Steel Scout. And love what you do, Jimmy. Captain Salty for $5. Hey, Gary, I'd love to see you have Gary Wayne on. His book, Genesis 6 Conspiracy, is a great read. Check out his videos on Tolkien and mythology. I will. What if Atlantis was just a small, simple town with rudimentary grid layout, a few multi-story buildings in a hunter-gatherer world? It would seem amazing. It gets wiped out, then passes into myth. That's what it could have been. You never know. Could have been a little suburb, you know?
Like that 3-story house is amazing. It's so good. It's mythical.
It's got 2 bathrooms and a 3-car garage.
Vaulted ceilings. Very comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Vaulted
very good
ceilings.
for the mind. Very creative.
Lot of
I can be
space.
creative in an environment like that.
The feng shui was
Okay.
fantastic.
Don't get me started. Vaulted ceilings are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got
Yeah.
one into my house,
Yep.
and that's where I do my best thinking. Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And Bach airbursts. Learned about them for the first time last week. I'll pass on those. Yeah.
Yeah.
America Before, in the chapter about the woolly mammoth that they found that's got a layer of that's part of that. They describe it, the layer from the boundary of the Younger Dryas. They found a dead mammoth that had just been hunted. They cut off its leg, and the hunter-gatherers went off, and then the airburst happened. And then they described the airburst. Read it in the book. It will make you shit your pants. Sparkus Aurelius for $5 is the last one for tonight. Hail all, Gary. Did you get my email on NevCon in Bozeman, Montana? Tim Alberino and David Polides 411. Oh shit, no.
Cool.
Tour Sage Wall, end of June. Well,
Cool.
I mean, I'm gonna be up to. It's not gonna be end of June, but sometime this year I might be in Montana.
Oh, that's right. We'll be there together.
It's
Yeah.
a miss. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we
Yeah.
can't talk about it. Sorry, internet chat. We can't do it.
Can't say when, but
You'll love the photos. You'll love the photos.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, we're going.
Mm.
But David Polides
I didn't hear
is
that.
fucking awesome.
He's awesome.
We're
He's
gonna
based.
get him on the show. He's super based
his outcome.
and love his work. So, guys, thanks for staying in for the whole show. I really
My pleasure.
appreciate it. Michael, please tell the nice folks where they can find you.
Absolutely. Wandering Wolf on YouTube, and my website's Wandering Wolf Productions. You can find everything I'm doing on there, including tours and stuff like that, which you should join me on. And Nerdrotic is doing a tour with me, so you can actually come along with all of us. And yeah, on social media, WWolf PROD, WWolf Prod. So check all my stuff in real time out on X. The best places to keep up with me is on YouTube and X. So you can watch my videos on YouTube and keep up with my travels in real time on X.
New video dropping soon, right?
Got a video dropping on Gobekli Tepe, and then the big release and reveal of all of this stuff right after that. Gobekli Tepe video that's coming out first is going to be great. It's going to cover everything that we talked about tonight. And then the more expansive ones going into some of the details that we've, Jimmy and I have said that we're holding off on because we wanted to do it right. That'll be out in the next couple weeks, probably. So a lot of good stuff coming here.
Hell
Pretty
yeah.
soon. And then I'll be speaking with Jimmy. Jimmy and I will be with Graham in Sedona. And then I'll be with you guys in Raleigh at Cosmic Summit in June.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
And then sometime during the year, maybe.
We're doing,
Turkey, but Turkey for sure. And
for sure.
Turkey, maybe X-Ray Girl can put the link in
Come with
November.
us. Yeah,
It's in
that'll
the
be fun.
description.
Jimmy won't be going. You can if you want to try. I know.
Put the glasses back on. You can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, grow a beard. Grow a beard.
Does
Yeah.
anyone in the chat have like a fake passport hookup? Just something on the DL.
I thought all white people look the same, so
Wow.
Well, you're Asian,
Wow.
That's true.
I have an RV, and you can come up through northern Europe, and we can drive down.
Drive down. There you go.
Oh.
Land crossing.
That's an
Hey,
It's
drive
an
through
option.
Syria. It'll be great.
That's a road
Just go-
trip.
yeah, go through
That's a
Syria.
road
no
trip.
Syria's on the other side,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't have to do that. But.
Just in case you're not subscribed to Bright Insight, I don't know why you wouldn't be, but Jimmy, please tell the fine people where they can find you.
Bright Insight here on YouTube and on Rumble. Follow me on Rumble. And I'm on Instagram, but Instagram sucks. But I'm still there, and because they suppress everything, they're just
yeah.
trash. It's like, but X is where I'm really trying to grow. So Bright Insight 6, but just Jimmy Corsetti on X, and you'll find me. And I recommend you follow me there because X is the future.
Yep.
There he is.
Look at-
Handsome devil. All right. Adam, what do you got coming up?
Well, I got my show, the Crigler Show, Monday through Friday. You can check out my stuff. I talk about politics, science, space, anything that's relevant, and I have great conversations with awesome people. Base Half Monday is just a group of guys. We just get together and talk. Random people come and show up. Friday nights, I do music and jam. And I just want to say to you two guys, if you're ever in Europe again and you want to go check out some ancient Viking spots, I got a spot literally my next door. There's a stone, a rune stone in my forest 3 feet from my house that says it's 1382. Vikings have been in my forest for thousands of years. So they used to sleep under the boulders that are in my forest. So I know some cool ancient Viking spots if you guys want to check them out.
Amazing.
I'd love to.
Next time you're back here, yeah.
Dude, there was a video. I can't remember who it was now. There's Viking runes in South America that he found.
Cool.
Yeah.
Will.
Will. Yes, Will. It was Will. Yes.
You should totally have him. He'll be with us at the Cosmic Summit in June. Will.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Amazing work.
Yeah,
and he's such a good guy, man. I can't
Incredible
say highly
history,
enough
right?
about him.
he was on that Explorers podcast, right?
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah. So he just put out a video and it's fucking great.
That's wild.
Got to
Right.
check that out.
Yeah, Will an incredible history.
Incredible history.
And while we're shouting people out, Nikki Anna traveled with us. Nikki Anna
Yes.
Jones
Yes.
traveled with
Nikki.
us through Turkey, and she definitely deserves everybody's love because she's doing amazing work. She's done, and she's everybody that we've talked about here tonight. She's interviewed on her channel, and she's just an amazing traveler with all sorts of wonderful ideas and stuff. And she puts out great content.
Nikki Anna Jones.
Yeah.
Wonderful person,
Yep.
by the way. Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, great spirit, good vibes. She
Yeah,
has so much-
yeah.
Her and her husband Joaquin were a blast to travel with in Turkey. Good
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, she's cheeky. I like
I've been
that.
friends with her for years. She's awesome.
Yeah.
X-Day Girl.
Extra Girl Everywhere. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a nooner on this channel. Oh my God. It was so quiet. I barely heard it. Going to be playing Zoocosis, another scary game. So very, very excited for that.
Nice.
Cool. Quarterback, I know what you're doing.
I'm making a video about Snow White. Yay.
Yes, you
that'll be
are.
coming out tomorrow, so check that out. And then Normal World, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Check us out.
Brilliant. Yeah, we got a video coming out tomorrow, nooner, Real BBC, all that good stuff. So thanks again for watching The Forbidden Frontier on the main channel.
Yeah.
Jimmy and Michael, thank you.
My
Thank you,
pleasure.
thank you,
Let's
thank
do it
you.
again, dude. So good to do this with you again.
You guys are awesome. I love you guys.
Let's see you in Sedona.
Guys, great having you on.
See you in Sedona and chat. Thank you. You want to say something, Jimmy? Sorry, I didn't.
No, I was going to say
interrupt.
thank you to all of you. It's been a blast, and I want to do it again sometime. Good times.
Hell
Heck
yeah.
yeah.
You're welcome back anytime. Talk about anything. It's all good. Chat, you are wonderful. As always, thank you for the super chats and donation. You help keep the lights on. Thanks to all the lurkers. Thanks to the Nerdrotics. We'll see you next week. Ciao.
See ya.
Bye now.
Welcome to the Forbidden Frontier.